We welcome those of you that watched the thriller in Austin, won by West Virginia. Many thanks to you, Joe. Tim Brando alongside Spencer Tillman. Mike Barrera will be helping us out in the booth. We're in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where the Cowboys trying to lay claim to Bedlam for a Big 12 title opportunity. They need to win out. Texas Tech trying to get bowl eligible. 3 games remaining, and all of them are road games. And a punt formation coming up now for Oklahoma State after their second possession. They went 50 yards in 4 plays in 91 seconds, and Jalen McCleskey caught a 26-yard touchdown pass to get them in great position to open this game at a 7-0 lead. Batson is stopped in his tracks right away after a beautiful punt. 52 yards and no return. Spencer, I think this is a very big game. It's right in front of them. A lot of goals that are attainable. Stakes are very high for both.
Well, Oklahoma State is obviously in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny. The math for them is simple. Win out, and you are the Big 12 champions. They got to go and do some difficult work. Got TCU on the road. Of course, Oklahoma looked dominant in their win over Baylor today, so they've got to get them. But if they do that, again, they're sitting in the driver's seat here.
Mahomes has had a couple of 3-and-outs. And has been dogged by this 3-man rush for the Cowboys. Their defensive coordinator, Glenn Spencer, has done a very nice job handling the chores here for some time now under Mike Gundy. And Justin Stockton pressed into duty today because of the injury to DeLeon Ward, the freshman who went for 93 yards against the Horns last week, is stopped for nothing. Devontae Averett, number 40, one of the 21 seniors playing for the final time at Boone Pickens, made the tackle.
Tim, glad you brought up Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator. His guys fly around. It was a thing that jumped out at me as I watched film. They're never taking a play off.
Stockton on the delay. Healthy pickup there, which will give them a 3rd and manageable coming up. Averett again making the stop.
And one of the things I look for, Tim, about defense is their ability to turn people over. Consistently, year over year, Oklahoma State is among the top 10 teams in the nation in turning people over. And when you can do that in successive years, it speaks to the consistency of the coach and the effectiveness in him to motivate his players to play with that level of consistency. Not an easy task with these millennials.
Second in the country in 3rd down conversions, yet they're 0 for 2 today. They were 7 of 19 last week, so 7 of their last 21. I think he may have hit the deck too soon.
Yeah, he sure was short.
I think he stumbled ahead about a yard before the line to make. And it will be another 4th down situation coming up.
Well, he clearly gave himself up sliding head first. And again, he pulls that ball down, does Mahomes, and he's sliding, man. He's a full half yard in front of that 1st down mark where he needed to be, and then going to punt this away.
People have surmised back in Lubbock that he's not completely healthy. Both, the shoulder problem to go along with the knee that was injured in the game with Kansas. See, they're talking with Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, he's certainly been dissuaded from running the last week. A negative 16 yards rushing. When he did take off, they made him pay for it. The Texas Longhorns did.
High end-over-end punt taken by Barry J. Sanders. Graduate transfer and son of the immortal Barry of Heisman fame in 1988. Magnificent day. Not a cloud in the sky in Stillwater. Temps are right around 70. Pistol Pete is pleased.
Here's a little appetizer you may have missed. Mason Rudolph. He went to busy early for the Cowpokes. A couple of shots there to Seals. Jawan Seals connecting, and then Seals again on this play. And he pays it off with Jalen McCleskey. The little show named after his father. The big show, and he pays it off with the score. Early action, expect more. Both these teams like to run and gun, and they're going to do it in spades.
It may take a while today, so settle back, folks. Justice Hill is in the backfield. The outstanding freshman. Play fake turn, ball tipped into the air. Nice work defensively by Malik Jenkins, number 41, to knock that one down with his big mitt. They had 3 blocks of Buechele a week ago in the game with Texas that we had.
Yeah, Malik was particularly active, but again, he showed you at that 6'1", 225 frame. He's got a vertical jump. He can disrupt it. He did a couple of times last week.
2nd and 10.
Getting in the right play. Nice.
Curl. Caught by Lacey, number 15, and down the sidelines he goes. Malik Jenkins shoved him Lacey, the junior from DeSoto, Texas, with 33 yards on that one.
Well, Mason Rudolph got him in the correct play. That's the first thing. And again, got a numbers advantage away. And they're going fast now, trying to take advantage of this single safety look. Should be a couple of plays open.
That's Washington. His first catch of the day, and he gets it down to the 20. There's not a lot of foul territory there, so if you get pushed, you could go right into the padding right in front of the grandstand area here.
Yeah, Justice Nelson, the guy there. As you look at this offense, there's 6 in the FBS. Is Oklahoma State 343 yards.
Washington, little wide receiver screen. His ability after the catch is fantastic. Almost like a running back converting to wide receiver. He's got that kind of capability.
Yeah, and he's got high pockets too. When you hear that phrase, you're talking about a high-hipped guy that really looks good in his uniform when he runs. Coach Gundy was gushing. In fact, yesterday he's a sprinter. He's a hurdler. The guy does a lot. So athletic, and when you see him perform, it really is art. Outstanding player.
I think they determined that they wanted to take a look at it, but it is a first down. We've got an injured Texas Tech Red Raider. I believe that's Jordan Brooks. Boy, they are just becoming a mash unit. They're some of their best offensive players, including DeLeon Ward and Justin Murphy, didn't even make the trip. And this is their best, most physical player defensively. He had a stinger a week ago, you might recall. So perhaps he aggravated that.
Well, they can ill afford to lose him. He plays the Mike linebacker. That's the guy in the middle of the heart of that defense. About 235 pounds. He's a young player, just a freshman, but they need him. They've got to have him in the heart and the center of this young defense. It's had trouble stopping the run.
David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, affable and candid.
Yes, he is. He's a good coach.
He would tell you in a heartbeat that that's the guy that they most need out there. They try their best to put him in positions where he would not be blocked. There's David. Came over from Houston, where he did a magnificent job, left a quality team for Coach Herman, and inherited this. He's very, very optimistic. 14 new players that have been signed to come in next year. As he would tell you, the cavalry is coming, but right now their defensive statistics are woeful, some of the worst in the FBS. They're just trying to get as many turnovers as they can to give their team a chance at the end, which was the case last week against Texas. Carson, the lone setback on 1st and goal. Rudolph, little fade. It's Washington. It's touchdown.
Timmy, some people will call it a 50-50 ball, but when you got this guy, number 28, on the receiving end, that's his ball. Justice Nelson doesn't have a shot at this. Over the shoulder, exactly where it needed to be.
Wait a minute.
Would you think he was out, Timmy?
No. I think the ball may not have been controlled. I think we should take a look at that's worthy of a look. That is definitely worthy of a look.
Well, there's it.
Watch the ball.
Yeah.
It's moving. It's still moving. Does he have control?
He
no,
does not. He does not have control. That's a good call.
That one should be reversed. Don Capperell is our replay official.
Now, clearly he had it on his thigh.
Yeah.
Not under control. I mean, just physically to get yourself in that position to make that play was outstanding. It showed the great execution.
Well, the supervisor of Big 12 replays, Dave Warden, is here. Mike Pereira is also with us back in Los Angeles. What do you think, Mike?
I'm with you guys. I mean, I think that he actually does bobble the ball. He has the right foot down, but to me, not the total control of the ball, and it is rolling around. I think if I'm in the replay booth, I reverse this to an incomplete pass. He's got to have total control with that foot down. I just don't think he does.
By the way, happy to have you back with us. I know how busy you are. We've been looking at your videotapes every week. They've been special. There you see the ball transfer. He was trying to transfer it, I think, Mike, and simply could not complete the process before going out.
And I'm glad you're watching my videos. They're fun to make, and I try to help us all out, trying to get a better understanding of the rules.
The receiver did not maintain possession of the ball with the foot on the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 2nd down and goal from the 9-yard line.
So Mike DeFee, our referee, does tell us that that is in fact the case. Thank you, Mike.
Mike, the entertainment value is always a 10.
All right, so Justice Hill checks back into the backfield for what is 2nd and goal. after the reversal.
They may take another shot down here on the numbers, Tim. Got it isolated for him.
Play fake to Hill, and Mason Rudolph for the touchdown. Boy, they bit on that play fake. Big time.
Well, it's rare that they put Mason Rudolph in this situation, but the numbers advantage told him did. The defensive end crashed, and you can see 4 guys to 3. That math works in favor of the Cowboys, and believe me, there's hell-bent for election early in this one, Timmy. No slow start, down 13 last week against Kansas State on the road, which eventually ended up being a very well-earned road victory, but today they're coming out screaming.
Simple zone read concept that was read nicely by Rudolph, and he takes it in for the touchdown. So even after the reversal, there's no stopping the Cowboys on their senior day. The junior leader at quarterback, Mason Rudolph, makes it a 2-score game. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Lots of activity moving quickly there in the tailgate area outside Boone Pickens alongside Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando, Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. And a 14-0 lead. Rudolph, by the way, with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. He's thrown for 23 and is off to an outstanding start. He had a 10 yards rushing coming into today. -2 because of that loss that was taken on a sack a bit earlier. Reginald Davis is back deep along with DeMarcus Felton, number 27. Amendola gets it away. 3 straight touchbacks that he's delivered. He's got a big leg. Big leg. There's been a lot of dominance in this series. 7 straight wins now for the Cowboys. They have won and have outscored the Red Raiders by an average of 50-26 during this run.
And they have been particularly strong of late, Timmy. They threw for over 400 yards for the 2nd time this season last week in the win at Kansas State. And, of course, they've got a streak of 16 consecutive games of 250-plus yards passing. That's the longest active streak in the nation.
Mahomes in at quarterback. Nothing doing on the ground with Stockton. Mahomes needed 114 yards in the air today to get to 4,000 in his first 3 drives. Now he's 0 for 2, no yards.
Well, Kirk Tucker, number 12, was really standing there playing his run fit just the way he's supposed to play it, making sure he maintains leverage on the outside to shut that down in a hurry.
It's the 8th rush now for Texas Tech. Really going out of their way to try to create something on the ground. Markers down as that pass is caught. Dylan Cantrell. Last week he had 8 catches, a career high for him for 89 yards. Made the grab. Check the flag here.
Like Jarrell Owens there, the defensive end, kind of instigated thing with pressure.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 58. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Looks like Madison Akamanu, 58, was the guilty party at right guard.
Let's see if we can take a look at that guy right there. Just up and a right, trying to sift up to that 2nd level. He knows he's downfield a little bit. He's
Oops, let me get back real quick.
Keystone Cops there. Ooh, yeah.
A lot of movement. He's forced into the starting lineup today due to injury. Mahomes again looking for some help. And that pass is caught. Well, that's beautifully done. That's Derek Willis, number 11. Very tall and lean at 6'3", 215. Out of San Bernardino, California. He got 16 on it.
They're trying to go fast, too.
On 3rd and inches, Stockton, I think, just got the line to make before being pushed back. We'll see. It's all about where they spot it. Averett made the stop. I think he's got the 1st down.
Now here's the previous play under pressure. The pressure was late there, but what a nice grab. And watch him climb the ladder and pluck that out of the air. Doesn't get any better than that if you're watching at home, youngsters.
I think they believe that they need to measure this. I thought he had the line to make. Why they didn't go ahead and give him the 1st down, I'm not sure. Apparently they're going to take a look at it. at the very least, if they have a 4th down, that defense needs a break. They've had way too many 3-and-outs this offense for Texas Tech. I thought Stockton actually, his forward progress had got him the line to make before he had been pushed back, but it's all about the spot. And it's short.
Yep.
That was not a good spot for them. That was not. If you look back at that play, Spencer, he was stood up. The ball had crossed the line, and he should have netted it. Watch where the line is, and when he's pushed back, where's the ball?
Yeah.
See, he's there.
Yeah, I think he's there.
Yeah,
and he's pushed back, but his shoulders clearly were hovering over the top of that line.
And the ball is obviously underneath that shoulder.
Yep.
Plays under further review.
Yeah, that's a smart call to take a closer look at that. But I think, Tim, you made a more significant point of this whole pace and tempo. Now you catch a break because they're going to review it again. But again, it's just as injurious to the defense when the pace and tempo is working to one team's advantage.
I know that this is something that slows it down and maybe they can catch their breath. Watch where the ball is.
Great form tackle by Everett there. He's the thumper in this system.
I think he had it at the moment that he was initially contacted and then pushed back. But again, I go back to this. In today's world, getting a...
Well, you just look at his foot. His left foot is sitting there on the X.
Right
you can
there.
see it.
But see, I don't believe that you'll ever get one of these overturned.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I understand that you have a right to challenge it. I've never seen it overturned.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is short of the line to gain stands, 4th down.
Yeah, I've never seen it happen. And I just think because there's no opportunity for you to see definitively
yep.
on the line, and it's no one's fault. Yep. We have as many cameras, our crew does as great a job as they can, but when you're trying to look straight down a significant line,
and our minds take the liberty.
Yes, where the end zone is, or just the line of scrimmage, they're going for it.
This is high risk here now.
Felton is the setback out of the gun. In the past, Mahomes would do this one on his own.
He needs to attack that edge over there. There you go, bring him down.
And a push. And we've got another timeout. Texas Tech, I believe, is going to take it.
That was a wise decision.
Texas Tech takes its first timeout of the half.
Remember, they tried that against Texas and got stoned, you might recall, last week. We'll be right back. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Oklahoma State leading by 14. Texas Tech has been unable to convert on 3rd down, now pressed to a 4th down situation. And after seeing the alignment, Cliff Kingsbury elected to call a timeout. What do you anticipate?
Well, I anticipated them without a DeLeon Ward just trying to go off the right side and power this thing through. The numbers, still the weakness, but this guy creeping up. The soft spot is to the right. Nice job. That's a holding.
I think Stockton was held and twirled and held again. So Mahomes, although he picks up the necessary yardage on bootleg action, Justin Phillips wrapped him up. I mean, there's no denying Stockton was doing the do-say-do with a linebacker that had him wrapped up.
Yeah, they were trying to work that flat route, and again, your assignment is to make sure you got that guy down, and you typically not throw it to him, but he was involved in the passing route.
During the run, holding defense number 4.
Yep.
A 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st down.
That's Lindsey Pipkins, who is the graduate transfer from the University of Louisiana Monroe. That's the first down for Tech.
They've got him bunched down, and you can see Pipkins is not going to let that guy cross his face. It comes into it late, but you can see he's got his hand on the back of the jersey.
Yeah,
he's clearly clobbered him
just a little there.
Otherwise, that would have been like a nice little sizable game.
Yeah, Kurt Tucker, also a star linebacker, had him wrapped up too. Beautiful out pattern to Derek Willings. This guy can really get it done. Tough, physical, has some speed to go with it. A 14-yard gain, and the Red Raiders now in business at the 39.
And that was Pipkins again. They flipped him the corner the other side, and Willings just stood him up and just spun him around, and with a nice upfield move. That's NFL caliber move right there now.
DeMarcus Felton in the backfield, number 27. And Mahomes.
And he kept it.
Yes, he did. Down to the 33-yard line, so quality gain on first down. 2nd and 4 coming up. We'll call it 2nd and 5. Justin Phillips, number 19, the redshirt sophomore, made the stop.
Mahomes should have threw that ball to him in that play, and the only thing I can accredit it to is probably he was confused by the coverage. This 3-man front really making a big difference and causing him consternation in his reads.
Felton inside the 30 to the 29. Very close to a first down. Kurt Tucker, number 12, making the tackle.
And Justin Phillips, number 19, in there as well. And around the ball, Glenn Spencer's stop unit. But again, they're moving the ball down the field as this Texas Tech team methodically.
It pops free for Felton. Boy, a quick burst inside the 15-yard line. Kenneth Edison Magruder, number 3, with a saving tackle.
Edison Magruder, number 3, is not there. He hits his head on the goalpost. It's a nice shoestring tackle, and they're playing fast.
Big time to Cutie. And Kiki gets it down to the 10.
Again, Edison Magruder, number 3, on an island out there. They're working on him, Timmy. Substituting their 3 front down linemen, trying to get pressure, fresh bodies in there to get to this quarterback that's moving the ball down the field on him.
2nd and 6. Felton remains the setback. We haven't called Tony Brown's number, nor have we called Cameron Batson 13. They are both flanked to the bottom of your screen. Little out pattern for Cantrell. Outstanding open field tackle in space by Ramon Richards, number 7.
Yeah, Richards was on an island. That's exactly how you earn your keep there. The nice out cut, a basic play, great leverage, head on the outside, stopped it for a negligible gain.
But a first down and goal. And here's Mahomes, and he goes in standing up, just like that. Texas Tech has answered after that critical 4th down conversion.
And Timmy, I think this is the most effective way for Texas Tech to score. Moving the ball down the field. You can see the zone read, the cross action. Got him with a lead blocker, the numbers game in your advantage. Mahomes untouched in for the score.
Yeah, Mason Reed, 29, the junior from Cisco, Texas, made an outstanding block, which really freed up Patrick. His 11th rushing touchdown of the year. Hatfield for the extra point. Well, when these two get together, it's always fun, even if one team has been dominant. Probably about 120 points and 4.5 hours of football. 14-7 our score. Oklahoma State with the lead. 2:14 remaining in the opening quarter. There you see the drive and how Mahomes handled it in the air. 4 of 4 for 41 yards.
It's okay to trade points, but again, if you're going to get them slow, you got to make sure points per possession are going to be a major factor. Every time they get the ball, they've got to think score.
Time for us to get back to Los Angeles now for Carl's Jr. and Hardy's game break, and we welcome Anthony Masterson to the fray.
You think the number 5 Buckeyes are going to overlook Maryland with the Michigan game coming up in 2 weeks? Think again. JT Barrett runs it in from 4 yards out, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. Buckeyes up 14-3 on the Terps in the first, not slowing down after their blowout win over Nebraska last week. Tim Spencer.
All right, Anthony, thank you. Cowboys with a 7-point lead, the ball at the 25-yard line, and Justice Hill will once again be in the backfield rather than Carson as they open this sequence. Youngster from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 27, out of Booker T. Washington High School.
Hornets.
And he'll carry it on the stretch play. Right on cue, ahead for 8. Should be 2nd and 2 coming up. Keenan Ward, number 15, making the tackle.
That's a great play by Keenan Ward, but again, showing you some of that speed. Booker T. Washington Hornets, they're proud of him. Quality kid.
Hill again ahead for a first down. Malik Jenkins made the stop.
Nice football play by Malik Jenkins, but Hill is a nice seasoned young talent out of Booker T. Washington to be able to help this ball club down the stretch.
Too much room given to Chris Lacey. That's just an easy pitch and catch for 12 yards. And already they're just shy of midfield. A polite parade made the stop. Hill remains the setback. Washington down at the bottom of your screen. Rudolph right on time. It's Lacey again. Finally thrown out of bounds near the Texas Tech 20.
Keenan Ward was on the back end defending, and Lacey just went and got that ball and stole it from him. 15 against 15.
He's getting rid of the ball so quickly. That's a 32-yard gain. Now, Texas Tech cannot get to him simply because he's getting rid of it so quickly. They have had the one sack. Wide open is the tight end. The Cowboy back, Zach Veach. Known more for his blocking than his receiving. Blake Jarwin has more the reception pedigree. 18 yards for Veach. And they go quickly again. Rudolph. Stop shy of the end zone.
That's an added dimension for this Oklahoma State Cowboy team. The tight end, you mentioned Jarwin Blake, and Jarwin is an outstanding guy. You can use him as a running back, a tight end. He puts so much stress on defense in terms of matchups. This is that element of surprise that's going to be very dangerous for anybody that has to face this Oklahoma State team the rest of the way out.
Yeah, they use 4 of them. Blake Jarwin is the starter, and Zach Veach will come in for him. And then Keenan Brown and Britton Abbott basically perform the same services as the number 3 and 4 options. Carson is now in the game, more the power back here, and he'll take it into the end zone for the touchdown.
This straight power football right here, as you said, this is the big back. Despite the fact he doesn't get his shoulders down, he gets them down enough with a push up front to usher him in. Carson does a nice job of paying it off for the score. If they're going to trade with this Oklahoma State team, they've got to do something a lot faster than what they're doing and responding to Texas Tech.
Well, this young man, Grogan, 4 weeks ago broke the Oklahoma State scoring record, passing Dan Bailey. That's the 5th rushing touchdown for Carson, but they got right on the front porch with Mason Rudolph's arm. First, it was Chris Lacey, his 3rd catch, and then big Zach Veach running that cowboy route. And it's 21-7. (21-7) our score. Mason Rudolph is just lighting it up. That drive, 7 plays, 75 yards, just a minute 53 off the clock. And Amendola once again boots it big time. Not even a chance for Reginald Davis to take it out. Well, tonight on Fox, Juju Smith-Schuster and the 20th ranked Trojans take on Jake Browning and the 4th ranked Huskies, 7 Eastern. And then on FS1, the 12th ranked Colorado Buffaloes battle the Arizona Wildcats at 10 Eastern as they try to make it to the Pac-12 title. It's all live on Fox Sports Go. That's going to be some game in a weekend with perhaps not the great number of outstanding matchups. It's the feature game of the night, and Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and Shannon Spake will have it for you in a beautiful, you talk about a magnificent Norman Rockwell painting there at
Doesn't get any better than
Husky
that.
Stadium. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Here's Felton ahead for 3, maybe 4 yards to the 29-yard line. Stopped by Gerald Owens, number 93.
Without DeLeon Ward, they don't have a smaller back, someone that's a kind of an off-pace back that can give them what they want, not just as a running back, but as a receiver coming out of the backfield.
Well, we've come to the end of the first quarter. Cowboys defense has been stout. Texas Tech has been living up to their image, and that's not good. They got to find a way to stop the bleeding when we come back to open the second here in Stillwater. FS1 college football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. We open the second quarter here on FS1. A magnificent day in Stillwater, Oklahoma, alongside Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando. Listen, Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter only threw for 41 yards. They got more yardage on the ground without their star running back, Dalian Ward, of a week ago than they do in the air. What do they have to do to change that?
Well, the bottom line is it's about points per possession in this conference, and particularly against these two teams. The way you respond is you got to match. Your receivers have got to get out there, and defensively, you got to get off the football field. 4 drives, 3 TDs, points per possession, 21 points, 181 total yards for Oklahoma State. Texas Tech has got to answer.
I don't think that the wide receivers, really short of Derek Willis, number 11, is getting a lot of separation from Oklahoma State secondary. Richards and Lampkin, Pipkins and company have done a pretty good job. DeMarcus Felton had that 15-yard burst, which helped them on that drive after the 4th down conversion. Longest run from scrimmage on the day. This time on 1st down, he gets ahead for 7. That'll help some as Jordan Burton, number 20, made the tackle.
That was a nice heavy run by Felton there, weaving his way through for a good, nice 1st down gain.
Stockton in motion, and now Mahomes loads up and looks for and finds Jonathan Giles. You know, we haven't called his name. Sadler missed one in the open field a bit earlier. You know, guys like Jonathan Giles and Cameron Batson have got to make plays today.
Yeah, and Darius Curry was there. They found a little soft spot over that zone. I think it was a single safety look that they rolled to. Too deep now, but the opposite look just a moment ago. And there's a soft spot in between that rolled up corner and the safety.
Quick out to Cantrell, and Dillon, with his 2nd catch of the day, is ushered out of bounds at the 36.
See, here's the previous play here, Timmy. You can see that there's a guy over the top. But again, there's a soft spot just over the top of his head, and that ball was placed perfectly by Mahomes there.
Got it right over Darius Curry. DeMarcus Felton is checked in. Cantrell, the wide receiver, at the bottom of your screen. And it's Felton. Nothing doing. He'll be stopped shy by a couple of yards of the 1st down. Justin Phillips, 19. Look at that. That's the fewest yards in the 1st quarter of his career in the air.
And you're talking about the most prolific passer in all of college football. That speaks to what Glenn Spencer is doing from a defensive standpoint. His guys are really playing some nice obscure defensive looks with just 3 men, dropping as many as 8 back in coverage. And Mahomes has had problems more than one occasion diagnosing the coverage.
Already 30 yards in the 2nd quarter. After the 41 in the 1st, there's that quick burst again. That's 3 times that play's been there for them. Once in this series, and one other time on that touchdown drive they had. And Felton.
Well, I really like Felton, the way he runs. I mean, he's got a nice little dart. I'm going to go old school on you this, Timmy, but you remember Gaston Green?
Oh, yeah, UCLA.
He's got that sprinter kind of body frame where he's an inline runner, and he just darts through there. He's such a quick athlete.
I was hyping him for the Heisman in the late 80s.
Back in the day.
5 rushes, 31 yards for Felton. Stockton now on the stretch. How about that?
That's
inside
nice.
the 20 to the 19. So having been stymied early, 3 straight 3-and-outs, the Red Raiders now getting some rhythm. Trey Flowers the stop.
And they're working the total width of the field here, and that's how you put stress on a defense. You serve up exactly what they've been doing to you. Make that defense run from sideline to sideline for a nice game.
The stress levels on defensive coordinators in this league
is high,
unlike any other. We're just complimenting Glenn Spencer, and he has done a marvelous job here for Gundy. But you're going to give up a lot of yards and some points in this league. I don't care how good you are, how long you've been in the business. Mason Reed is coming to the game, number 29. Mahomes' pass is to Cantrell underneath. Jordan Burton again, number 20, with the stop, but not before he gets it inside the 10 for a 1st and goal.
It was Lampkin, the corner, that settled down on that play. Boy, it's really interesting how these little nondescript routes open up the coverage behind you, and it's really good to see the design of both these sharp minds on the offensive side.
Stockton down to the 4. It's at this stage in the field where Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator, believes his team has really improved. Get the job done inside the red zone. When the depth of the field shrinks on Mahomes, that's when it's advantage defense.
But see, here's the irony with this group right here. They're about 75% scoring touchdowns once they get inside the red zone, but it doesn't equate to their one-loss record.
Cantrell, touchdown.
Timmy Mahomes and this Texas Tech Red Raider offense is an anomaly. When they get down here, they're virtually impossible. It was the late Bill Walsh, one of the great West Coast offensive schemes that put the benchmark at 80% touchdowns once you get in the red area. This Texas Tech team is at 76%, yet their win-loss record doesn't reflect it, but you can see the execution is almost flawless down here. It's amazing to me why they're not winning more games. Except when you look at the defense.
I'm glad you threw that one in. I was about to recite their defensive stats as a team. I've done that too many times. I don't want to be too hard on defensive coordinator David Gibbs. Cantrell on the receiving end, the 24th touchdown pass for that young man, Patrick Mahomes. What a player. .11:23 remaining in the first half. The Cowboys lead down to 7 as the Red Raiders answered the bell as the second quarter opened. And you look at the numbers per game this season. You touched on how outstanding he is. First in total offense, passing yards. Just third in passing touchdowns. We just mentioned he had his 24th. And he gets so much done on his own. Cliff Kingsbury loves the kid. He said that, yeah, he does want to please, but there are times because Cliff is a quarterback and not that far removed from being one, he wants to make sure whatever it is they run is something he's comfortable with. If it's not something he wants to do, then Cliff will not ask him to do it. He understands that aspect of the position. And Barry Sanders will bring it out. Up to the 25-yard line. Let's get a quick game break from Los Angeles with Anthony Masterson.
Number 7, Wisconsin looking for a laugher against Illinois. Already up 21-3 in the second when the other Badgers QB, Bart Houston, finds Kyle Peniston for the 7-yard score. They're looking to party on State Street tonight. Badgers on top 28-3 early in the second. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
All right, Anthony, thanks. Let me tell you something. That's a 2-loss team you better keep an eye on as the college football playoff standings keep rolling. There you see the numbers up above 3,000 now. Second quarterback to do that, Brandon Whedon being the other. Mentioned this position and how well Mike Gundy has developed them through the years. It's just amazing. A pump fake and a beauty, and now looping it deep, and it's going to be picked off.
He dropped it, didn't he?
He had it and then dropped it as he hit the deck. Well, that's why you're, I guess, a free safety, Deshaun Johnson, because it was right in his mitts. Well, and then when he hit the ground, the ball was ajar.
Yeah, that's about the part of the field with a 30 or 40, 35 or so where that shaded area starts to transition from light to dark, and maybe that got him. But again, he just couldn't control it. He goes up, sights it in the light, and then comes down, and maybe his own battery mate there knocked it out of him from the back.
DJ knocked it out. It really helped hurt him here.
Yeah, polite brain.
Yeah. And then the ball hit the deck and popped free. And that's really one of those that hurts the feelings of Gibbs. The defensive coordinator, Justice Hill, forges ahead for a gain of 7, so 3rd and 3 coming up. They need those plays, Spencer. You've got 2 hands on the ball and you're about to get an interception, any kind of turnover. That's what the David Gibbs defense can deliver. They're going to give up yards, but they need to create turnovers.
No question about it. Turnovers are the great equalizer. 97% of the time, if you're trailing by 2 or more, you're going to lose a game at the collegiate level.
On 3rd and 3. Once again, it seals. His size and strength, the difference there in fighting off Polite Bray. Huge gain down the sidelines for 37 yards.
Well, Polite Bray just got out physical on that play. And again, it's isolated man coverage on that perimeter as they go fast to try to double up in some of these explosive plays that defines them in the last few weeks.
That pass was a little high, but McCleskey gathered it in. Still manages about a yard past the line of scrimmage.
McCleskey made Jashawn Johnson miss there, and did a nice little job of getting past him. Jalen McCleskey is really explosive. He got that nickname, the Show, from his dad. He's the Show Jr., but he's a nice open field runner.
There is no foul on the play for an eligible downfield. The ball was caught out or behind the line of scrimmage.
In a game like this, that extra possession really means a lot when you have a turnover. Here's that other Seals catch that we had for you a moment ago.
Seals just did a nice job of giving himself a pad and a cushion there from the sideline to give him a little bit more point of error.
2nd and 9. Chris Carson, on the Georgia native, almost makes the line to make. He'll be just a little short, maybe a half yard. Young man grew up Lilburn, Georgia. Looked like he was going to be a Bulldog. Wound up having to transfer. Made his way here. A circuitous route to his senior day. Now here for the first time to watch your son play. He gets the first down to the 16-yard line.
Well, Carson really ran heavy on that one and ran right by the containment guy, and just showing you some power and speed, the ability to run through those arm tackles.
I'll actually mark it back at the 17, but it's a first down. Justice Hill has come back in, number 27 for Oklahoma State. He was going to have a marvelous year, then got hurt. Had the injury to his knee early in his career. It happened in his high school senior season at Parkview, and all of a sudden a hand injury cost him 4 games this season. They're really happy to have him back. Gives him a dual threat in the backfield. A perfect complement really to Justice Hill. 2 different styles of running. And here goes the freshman. He's got it inside the 10 to the 8-yard line before being shoved out of bounds.
Hey, Jarwin did a nice job coming in there and then sealing that from the inside out. Trips formation now. They're going to go pace and tempo. Let's see if they can get a nice little zone read inside.
Hill twisting, turning, churning. Touchdown.
Cowboys down here love to go trips to the field, the near side in this case, and come back with a little zone read, playing the numbers with leverage. The ability to run through a hand tackle there. That's nice physical effort to get in for Hill for the score. Really like his style, Tim. Running with great pad level, intentionality to get down here and to pay it off.
6 carries for 35 yards, and he had 17 of the 35 on the last 2 runs.
It's 5 drives now, resulting in points, touchdowns.
You think they'd like to have that interception back? Think it would have mattered to David Gibbs if that ball had been caught by Jashawn Johnson? You got to give up yards in pinball football. That's what we have in the Big 12. You get your hands around it as a defender, you better catch it. Otherwise, you're going to be made to pay. I wish I could get that, what he's doing right now, to my Fitbit so I could get credit for it. 8 plays, 75 yards, another fantastic drive, and Hill 17 of the last 35 yards on the ground from him to get them into the end zone. Reginald Davis again back deep. Amendola has not given them a chance so far today, but this is his first boot in this quarter, and it looks like he'll
here.
Well,
we just let it go.
Another touchback.
Wow.
Take a look at our Big 12 standings, sponsored by Sonic, an official sponsor of the Big 12 Conference. Now, these have been updated. Oklahoma taking care of business with Baylor. That's 3 consecutive losses for them. West Virginia now in a great position. All the big teams all the big games are coming to them at Mountaineer Field. They'll close out their season with Baylor. And of course have the opportunity with Oklahoma coming up, while the Cowboys get TCU's got an open date next week.
Oklahoma there with a lot of momentum, 7 straight wins today, and it looked dominant in the win over Baylor.
DeMarcus Felton in the backfield for Mahomes, who opens this drive just 11 yards on that gain, but opens this drive 28 passing yards away from 4,000. So he gets 11 there, so he's to 17 away from hitting the 4,000 mark on the season. It has been remarkably a different kind of play selection day for Cliff Kingsbury. The ground game, and even without DeLeon Ward, has been effective. And this young man, DeMarcus Felton, has run it very well. Moncrief made the stop there. A great gain on first down, so 2nd and 5. Everything in the playbook now for Mahomes. Bootleg action, and he throws it for the sidelines. It's Jonathan Giles. They'll give him credit for, oh, they're going to say out of bounds at midfield.
He's disappointed about that. Giles thought he was in on that. He doesn't really contest it.
That would have gotten Mahomes beyond the 4,000 mark on the season.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. He had those feet. I think that the right toe was down, Timmy. Wow.
This one right here will be perfect to show us.
That's control.
I agree with you. I thought he carried it. I agree with you. I thought that should be complete.
Yeah, they're going to look at that again.
Yeah, they need to. He drugged that right foot, and it should have been a first down.
And a lot of times people think, I'd love to get Mike's comment on this. When you catch that ball, just because you're bringing it to your body doesn't mean you don't have control of it.
That's right. That's right. If the foot's down and you've completed the act of catching the ball.
Prior to the timeout, replay page, the previous play is under further review.
So no timeout credited to Texas Tech. The replay officials, Don Caprell, did call down to make sure that the white hat, Mike DeFee, comes over to get on the horn with him and find out whether this is going to be overturned. I agree with you. I think that the foot was in and he had control all the while.
Total control with the grab. He plucked it, and again, he does continue the act of bringing the ball into his body, but that right foot is down and his hands showed clear control. And back to Mahomes here, at the pace that he's going right now, Tim, he can become the first player to lead the Big 12 in all those 3 primary categories that we talked about on the graphic a moment ago since Graham Harrell in 2006-2007.
Here's Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. How do you see it, Mike?
Well, we've all been looking at it here. We think, like you, that the back foot is down when he gets control of the ball. And sometimes, you know, when it comes to control, you stick it. What's the way they stick it? He gets control as soon as it hits his hands, and then you have to focus on that back foot. And there he's got control, we feel, at that point with that right toe still down. So we think it's a catch.
We have had one overturn earlier today. Pistol Pete apparently is unhappy that they're taking a look at it, firing his pistol there during this pause in action that we have. The supervisor of the Big 12 replay officials, Dave Warden, is also here. So we have an inordinate number of men inside the replay booth. Don Caprell, D. Anderson, and now Dave Warden are all here, and the determination is being made. Sometimes if it takes a little bit longer for these determinations to be made, it usually has something to do with, well, we are going to overturn it. Where exactly do we put the thing?
That's it. And usually, if it takes more than 60 seconds, it's about where to place it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And that's a consistent rule that we see happen at the other league as well. Is when they look, it's about where the ball. Our crew is going to give us a good opportunity to see where that ball should be placed by that right toe that's down. Assuming that's the catch.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of an incomplete pass stands as called.
Wow.
3rd down.
Wow.
Texas Tech is not charged with a timeout as replay page prior to the coach challenging.
I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly shocked.
Well, there's that old saying about indisputable video evidence. The term is loosely defined.
That's like, which one of the stooges says, who you going to believe, me or your own eyes?
They're saying that the left foot came down first before the right foot was drugged. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. 3rd down and 5. But we can respectfully disagree.
Absolutely.
Part of the game. Underneath, Cantrell. Doesn't matter now. He's got the first down up to the 47-yard line. A little extracurricular going on between some of the linemen in the aftermath of that back in the backfield.
Yep.
It looked like Vincent Taylor, 96, was doing a little woofing after the fact. No flags were thrown. I think the offensive lineman, Bailey Smith, 71, was the one jawing with him.
Yeah, Ashton Lampton should have been jawing. He's the one that got beat on the play, but it was a nice job of executing and moving the ball down the field.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 48. 9 yards away from 4,000 on the season for Mahomes in the air. Will he get it here? Looping it high into the air and incomplete. Intended for Cameron Batson, number 13.
Usually they're going to leave one rusher or one blitzer for Mahomes. And again, he felt him coming and just got rid of that ball. But it's a smart heads-up play. He'll live with that down in 2nd and 10 for another shot at it. Fresh set of bodies comes in up front for Oklahoma State and Glenn Spencer's stop unit.
Kurt Tucker, the late one to get set up. Looks as though he's trying to check with Jonathan Giles, number 9, who is a primary target in these kinds of situations in the slot. There's the quick slant to Cutie. And he's about a yard, maybe 2, shy of the first down. Ashton Lampkin, number 6, made the stop. And that gets him to 4,000 even.
That's a beautiful play of executing, number 1, with the shoulders upfield to affect his read cues and just to stun those linebackers and the safety just enough so that they're not jumping that route and he can complete it quickly. That was an excellent pitch and catch by Patrick Mahomes.
Seth Dagey and Graham Harrell were the other 2 that got beyond 4,000 in a single season in consecutive years. Job well done by Mahomes. Felton, nothing doing. Hit by Mote Baile, and Averett, number 40 and 90, collaborate for the Cowboys.
Averett is the thumper there. You can see him, number 40, stick his nose in there. They had a game, did Texas Tech working on, and Averett just shot his run fit perfectly in there and shut that down. Felton could have used a little bit more vision in that play. The hole would have been bouncing to the outside to his right. Nice job on the run fits.
Miley, one of the seniors from Euless, Texas, a strong run stuffer.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 7. It's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Boy, Ramon Richards, the converted quarterback from his high school days.
Right here on the outside, you can see him coming in. Got that right hand along the face.
Sadler
never lets go of it.
Ian Sadler was trying to block him. That had nothing to do with the play.
Yep.
1st and 10. Outstanding field position now for Mahomes, trying to keep this track meet alive. And Felton again will get it down to about the 20-yard line. Averett again with the tackle. So another healthy gain. If they can continue to get 5 and 6 yards on the ground on first down, Spencer, it really makes this offense percolate.
Absolutely. Kurt Tucker was trying to scream and come off the edge to minimize that, but again, that knifing through.
One of the things Texas did a nice job of last week was keep Mahomes in 2nd and 3rd and long situations. Oh, ball's on the ground. Looks like the Cowboys may have it.
Mahomes got caught betwixt and between his read. He wanted to pull it out of Felton's belly. Felton continued on and knew that it was the incorrect read.
Wow, I think the Red Raiders may have gotten control. Oklahoma State had the first look at this. Watch out.
That defensive end has got leverage. Mahomes needed to leave that ball in his belly because the end guy he's trying to read, you see his eyes on the inside? He's looking inside. The ball is out. He can't get his eyes back out to the edge to look at the defensive end who has clear edge set on the outside. He needed to leave that in the belly of Felton.
Jossie Ockham had the first chance to get that, but didn't. And it was Mahomes that recovered it. 3rd down and 5. Underneath on the check down, it's Jonathan Giles. Forward progress will net the 15. That's 6 yards and a first down.
Have a red there on the stop again. They're working the underneath routes. Number 40 stuck his nose in there, and he's been active. But again, I'm not sure that's the best thing against this group, because you're going to find some mismatches underneath with these smaller receivers working through there, checking down. At some point, they're probably going to go over the top of him.
1st and 10 from the 15. Well, now both teams have had chances for turnover opportunities go awry. That pass to Cantrell is a little low, still catchable, and falls incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Cantrell's got to catch that. That ball was low in a way, but got to make that play down here in the red zone. Everything gets compressed. It's really difficult to execute with efficiency, but the good teams, which they are, down in the red area, we talked about their 76% completion percentage in terms of scoring and finishing off with touchdowns down here. You can't keep that number up there that high, missing those balls.
Stockton and Felton both in the backfield. Stockton now splits out to the bottom of your screen. On 2nd and 10, on the cross, it's Willies. And he's just shy, I believe, of the first down by about a ½ yard. 3rd down and short coming up at the 6-yard line of Oklahoma State.
Kasi Akeem at linebacker was trying to defend on that play, but again, another sizable gain in the red area. Now at the 5-yard line, the green zone with a timeout call.
Texas Tech will take it. That'll leave them 1. If you don't get a turnover, you're likely to give up a touchdown in this one. This graphic line will help show you how the game has changed, right?
Timmy, if this is not an outlier line right there, 1644, it absolutely means nothing. It's about points per possession in this league, especially and particularly with these two teams.
3rd and inches with Felton, the lone setback. Mahomes is under center. Tony Morales, the veteran, one of the very few that hasn't been moved. And Morales will follow him off the left side. And he gets the first down. So it should be 1st and goal coming up.
Yeah, you're right. Morales is the stalwart at the center position there, number 51. And he's the brains up front. A heavy amount of this, what they do offensively, is put on his shoulders to execute down here, particularly. All of the line calls go through him first.
They began the season with 3 starters lost from 70 games played a year ago. A lot of that was up front, and it's a patchwork offensive line now. Mahomes, design run. Met at the 3-yard line by Trey Flowers, and the ball pops loose, but I think the whistle had stopped play. Down by contact.
Timmy, look at how quickly the black jerseys get around the ball. And again, this is a credit to Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, for how active his guys are. If you're wondering why balls tend to fly out like that, it's their proximity to the ball. It begins with the culture of this defense.
Remember, progress is not reviewable, so they mark him down at the 3. Quick wide receiver screen. It's actually Stockton, and he gets inside the pylon for the touchdown. They took the running back, flanked him out, and go Bubblicious. And Kingsbury is all smiles.
Even in this constricted space, you can still get them. You can see the bodies trying to sort it out here.
Look at the
They're
movement
working,
there.
man, trying to look like ants out there trying to get in position. But that's the effect of this spread formation, the old basketball term, and it is kind of like basketball on grass. The ball always moves faster than the body. Those guys can't get in position fast enough.
Hatfield's extra point. And we're back to a 1-score game. Stockton with his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. Back and forth we go. Put it in the air. There is absolutely no denying these two teams, when they get it, know what to do with it. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. This is their Heritage Hall here in Stillwater. They honor the history and tradition of Oklahoma State football, which Mike Gundy is such a tremendous part of. Right now, Texas Tech, look at those last 3 possessions. That's pretty effective. We were just commenting as the quarter began that they had struggled, only 41 yards in the air for Mahomes. I think once they got the consistency in the ground game going, it was look out, and that's what's happened in the second. They've been in total command. And let's get you back to Los Angeles, where Mike Hill is standing by. Mike.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, 11th-ranked Oklahoma looks to continue its roll through the Big 12. Plus, 16th-ranked West Virginia tries to slow down Deontay Foreman in Texas. And Alabama and Clemson aim to solidify their claims on playoff spots. That's all at the half. But right now, Tim, Spencer, back to you.
All right, Mike, thanks. We look forward to you and the guys. Plenty to discuss, and much of the outstanding action is yet to come tonight, and it'll be here on Fox, the Fox family of networks. That Washington game especially. Justice Hill gets it out ahead to the 29-yard line. Jashawn Johnson made the stop. The last 6 possessions, all touchdowns. 4 of the last of the first 5 really in the game today were punts. 3 of them were by Texas Tech. They have been stuffed early in this game. James Washington, he's not had the big play yet. They have curtailed that, and I think that's a credit to Justice Nelson, who's been checking him much of the way.
He really has, and that was a great takedown there by Nelson, pulling him to the ground to minimize the yards after the contact.
Mason Rudolph on the comebacker for Seals. And he's going to be stopped at the 47-yard line. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3 coming up.
Yeah, Paul Banks defending on that play. And again, this pitch and catch. We're playing this zone soft coverage with the corners.
Hill. Good penetration. He may have gotten a half yard. That's about it. Andre Pipkins, number 9, got through there. The big nose had that huge fumble recovery that helped give Texas Tech a chance at the end last week. Made the stop. Senior transfer from Kansas City. Young man that had been at Michigan, had some knee injuries. Got a second chance and has performed admirably for David Gibbs' defense. 3rd down and 2 coming up. Hill remains the setback. And they go the other way to McCleskey. That ball is dropped and picked up. It's Chris Williams that has it. That's going to be ruled a fumble and return. The ball was live. McCleskey lost it. Then was popped pretty well, and Chris Williams, youngster from Dallas, Texas, the senior, picked it up and went the other way.
For the 2nd week in a row, David Gibbs' team pulls up significant turnovers in a crucial situation to help his team out down the stretch. This after score, that's Banks down there on the ground. The ball comes out clearly.
Banks hit him, knocked it free, and it was Chris Williams that scooped it up. There's 28, got him on the shoulder. He was sandwiched by he and Stringer.
Yeah, Braden Stringer was right there on top of him too, man. That's nice activity around the football, creating turnovers.
Now that's what they absolutely have to do to have a chance in any game that they play from a defensive standpoint. So McCleskey turns it over. First turnover of the game for either team. And that pass is caught by Jonathan Giles, and he's got it inside the 30 to the 28 of Oklahoma State. Under 2 minutes remaining in the opening half. Down early, 14-0. Texas Tech's got the machinery in position now, and Felton gets it all the way down to the 16-yard line.
Jeff Carr, the cornerback, number 20, was coming up out of that position. Well, they got to really be careful on the edge. When they're going pace and tempo, they've got to really feel those run fits.
17 and 12 yards on the last couple of totes. Felton remains the setback. Cantrell, who had the touchdown catch a moment ago, number 14, down at the bottom of your screen. Cameron Batson, 13, is in the slot. Mahomes decides to keep it, and he jitterbugs his way inside the 10 to about the 5. Justin Phillips made the tackle. He may have actually gotten inside the 5.
He is so good at escaping. On that time, Oklahoma State had what they call a port side charge. Everybody's coming to the left. He naturally flows to the right, away from the pressure for a sizable gain. This kid is incredible.
So 1st and goal from the 4. And again, Cantrell, Batson, and Cutie are the wide receivers to the bottom. Mahomes decides to keep it himself on the read and is stopped behind the line of scrimmage at the 5. Jordan Stearns, the senior from Cobb, Texas, number 13.
Even though Stearns was there, Mahomes made the correct read. That was the read that he needed to make on the previous series. Again, when that end dictates it and he comes down, you got to pull that ball out or leave it in, as the case may be. He's got to keep his read.
Formation has not changed, Spencer. 2nd and goal.
Switch.
Mahomes just gets rid of it. That was well defended. They did not get what they wanted. I hear what you're saying. You were hoping for a switch route, which is another way, correct, of saying pick.
Yep,
that's
exactly
what you were asking for there.
Absolutely. They had an opportunity to get that pick down there. Dylan Cantrell was down there with an opportunity to get the pick. But again, when they get off the ball and they're playing more of a catch technique, it takes a while to sort the pick out. Guys don't commit to it. When they get bunched up, it's a lot easier to get the read quicker from the quarterback standpoint.
3rd and goal.
Oh, big fella out here.
78 is eligible, and look at that.
Wow.
The formation got it done.
Yep.
It's a touchdown. Completed. Third touchdown pass of this quarter to a player that is not on the numerical or the alphabetical roster.
Let's see what's going on right here, Timmy. Again, there's a lot they didn't tell us before this game started about who was going to be doing what. He just slips out again, just left him unguarded. And he's grateful for the opportunity.
That's the 2nd time that that's happened to us this year. Clayton Hadfield will go for the extra point. Well, we did find out who didn't make the trip, but we did not find out that number 90 had made the trip. No name on the back of the jersey either. Started with a fumble, and that, of course, led for a little defense in front of the popcorn machine, and then Mahomes decides to make a few plays. How about that, Deke, huh? And then in the end, a player to be named later with a touchdown. Wow. And here's the kick. Barry Sanders stopped at the 17-yard line. Listen, we're not in the business of speculating.
No.
And I've got to just say it. All right. We understand that numbers can be changed from time to time, but it is up to the people that are in charge of sports information and the coaching staff to make us aware when Travis Bruffy is changing his jersey from 15 to 90 so that we can know who's out on the field at a given time. These kinds of circumstances, well, now we're being told is usually number 79.
But I think the fact that there was no name on the jersey at all
should tell you something.
Should tell you something. You're absolutely right.
So this is one of those issues of governance of game that will get me back on a pulpit and an opportunity to say that we got to do something about this.
Yeah, we're partners.
In college football. We've had this happen. We had it happen at Oregon State earlier in the year. Travis Bruffy, 6'6", 270 out of Missouri City, Texas. And you see we've got a penalty. They'll move it back. I'm happy for the young man. Good for Texas Tech that they got the touchdown. But in situations like that, when a player is not listed on the alphabetical or the numerical rosters, if they have a right to make the change, I know it's within the framework of the rules, but we are your partners. We're not media members that are here assessing the game. We're actually trying to call the game and present the product.
That's right.
That's got to be taken care of. It's Bush League, and it needs to stop. Well, coming up, the State Farm halftime show with Mike Hill, Dave Wanstadt, Robert Smith, and Matt Leinart. Should be a lot of fun, and we're going to take you there right now. The score is tied at 28. I'm going to look up and see if I can find some more guys that might have made the trip. Fellas, take it away.
A lot of offense there. Hey, yeah, welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. As you said, Mike Hill, Robert Smith, Matt Leinart, and the coach Dave Wanstead. And wow, an exciting first half there, tied at 28 with the team Texas Tech scoring on their last 4 possessions. But Mason Rudolph, OSU, getting the job done in the first half himself, coming off a big game against K-State, leads us to our State Farm right combination highlight, and it is the OSU quarterback.
Yeah, he's done a great job all season long, guys, and picking up where he left off last week. A very efficient 14 of 18, 240, and a touchdown in the first half. And the thing I love about Mason Rudolph, guys, is he's really developed as a quarterback. He's cut down the turnovers this year, only 4 interceptions on the season. He's taking what the defense gives him. He does take shots downfield because they have explosive receivers, but I just love his efficiency. And also, Robert, I think the balance of the run game, they're committing more to the run over the last couple weeks. They're not great, has really helped him as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to do a little bit more of it today. Only 8 carries in that first half for Justice Hill. The freshman has really been a big part of this run offense this season. The offensive coordinator, Mike Yursich, has really tried to get the run game to have that balance. But I'm telling you, you look at what Oklahoma State is with this offense. You have got to possess the ball because on the defensive side of the ball, your run defense hasn't been any good. You've already given up 107 yards rushing to Texas Tech, which is above their season average for an entire game. Oklahoma State, not just in this game, but looking forward to Bedlam, they've given up almost more than 300 yards basically in 3 games. One of the games was 290 this year. So they've got to try and control the ball themselves because defensively they haven't been able to hold up.
Yeah, you're right. Oklahoma State has their work cut out for them. Early in the game, obviously we thought it was going that way for sure. But this is one of those games where you hate to say it, but whoever has the ball last might win, you know, because they're both so explosive. 2 things that I don't know if I've seen this out of Texas Tech all year. Is half. They have more possession time than the opponent and more running plays than the opponent. I mean, so you know, you talk about why is their defense playing a little better? I think because they're a little rested than what they've been in the past because they're running the ball more. And maybe not running for 10 yards a carry, but just by running the ball, it gives your defense a chance to get rested, to get regrouped on the field, particularly versus high-tempo offense.
You got to do something in the second half. Cowboys have won 7 straight against Texas.
I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. When the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles.
We welcome you back at halftime here at Boone Pickens Stadium. It's Oklahoma State and Texas Tech deadlocked at 28. Hello again, everyone. Tim Brando alongside Spencer Tillman. Well, we've seen just about what we thought we'd see with 2 incredible quarterbacks.
Well, the quarterbacks were the feature show. Again, Mason Rudolph did his number early and often. Again, he came out running and gunning. Not like last week, Tim, when they were down by 13. They came out slinging it in a very impressive fashion. He hit his receivers pretty much everywhere. The zone read was working. Then he pulled it down and ran it in himself. That was really a shocker for me after talking to Mike Gundy saying that they're not going to put him in harm's way. Then Patrick Mahomes answered too, responsible for 4 touchdowns in this half, and it was a tale of 2 quarters. For Texas Tech, 41 in that first quarter, 220 in that second quarter, and for OSU, 167 and then 128. That's 103 total yards difference from quarter to quarter. Although both these teams got it manufactured an interesting way, but it has been a tale of quarters, and again, the quarterbacks have led the way, Tim.
Everything we anticipated and then some, no question about it. Texas Tech will kick it away to open the second half. Barry Sanders is back deep. And this one will go all the way through the end zone for a touchback. The 1 turnover was crucial. And there were opportunities for both teams to have 1 more, and they couldn't come up with it. There you see the stats on Rudolph, who in keeping with a great tradition has been magnificent. And the youngster Justice Hill has been very productive with 40 yards. Chris Lacey has been targeted 3 times for 78 yards today. Haven't heard much from James Washington because of the job that Justice Nelson, which you said was going to be something to really watch for, number 31 down at the bottom of your screen, and he's checking Washington here on first down from the 25. Right on cue, Washington does have it in front of Nelson out to the 40-yard line, and it's a first down.
They've been able to contain Washington, playing again a guy over the top, and it's kind of like an umbrella coverage. And Washington, historically, over the 2 games, we've talked about the explosive plays that he's had. It has been marginalized because of the umbrella coverage by Texas Tech.
Just don't want him to have that explosive play. Keep him in front of you. This time he got behind Nelson and others, but the ball was thrown away. Deshaun Johnson was probably the closest to it, but Mason just had to unload that one as the backside pressure was coming his way.
That's been part of the other equation here with Pimpkins and company, Colin Hill, the defensive end, and then Breeden, Fakoko. All of those guys have been putting pressure on the quarterback in a way that's been consistent with the previous 2 teams, with the 3-man front doing most of the heavy lifting.
Some good penetration by Breeden Fehoko there, as you see Hill cutting it back up, trying that stretch play to the field. Colin Hill, number 13, made the stop, the sophomore transfer.
Yeah, Colin does a nice job of fighting off 2 blockers there, doing a fine job of working up. That was Marcus Keys that playing at that left guard position that he had to fight through to make that play. That's an outstanding effort by Colin Hill.
3rd down and 9. Jalen McCleskey, who had that turnover, split wide to the bottom of your screen. Chris Carson now the setback. Rudolph gets away from Fehoko and Pipkins, and now is stopped at the 45 as Malik Jenkins stayed home and made the nice open field tackle and will force a punt formation here in the opening series of the half.
Well, the clear adjustment for David Gibbs, it's 4-down linemen now that they're facing and putting pressure on the quarterback here. They're flushing him out, and again, you don't want him to move that much out of the pocket. He's a guy that likes to stay in that tackle box in the classic pocket sense. They don't want him moving significantly, and the 4-man front is what's putting the pressure on him and forcing him to punt.
Cameron Batson is back deep. Zach Seiner gets it off, and Batson with a fair catch at the 13-yard line. Well, Mahomes, who had a very difficult first quarter, warmed up and then some in the second.
He really did, Tim, but the anatomy of their success today has been a little bit different. They came in #1 in the league in most plays of 20 yards or more. Those are the explosive plays. They came in with 71, but you're seeing a lot of 10, 12, 9, 7-yard plays. The anatomy of their success being built a little bit differently against this Glenn Spencer stop unit.
Well, the Cowboys had to give it up for the first time on a punt since their second possession of the afternoon. And now Texas Tech with an opportunity with a drive here to take their first lead. That's Cameron Batson, the wide receiver. Bubble screen, gets it out to the 19-yard line. Averett, number 40, again making the stop. He's been very active today at that linebacker spot. Pickup of 5, 2nd and 5. I think this has been the key, really, Spencer. Yardage on first down. It's been 5+ really since the second quarter began, and that's enabled them to have the entire playbook at hand.
Yeah, 2nd and 5 is always better than 2nd and longer.
Felton, about a yard or 2. Justin Phillips, number 19, with the stop.
And even in a 3rd and 3 scenario, it's not a classic run-pass conflict, but for these guys, they'll look at a nice bubble screen as like a little handoff run, and they can fall forward for 2 or 3 yards. This is a great position, even though they're backed up.
3rd and 3.
You almost want to run away from this right here in the Foreman.
Quick slant, incomplete, was dropped. Jonathan Giles, that's the one he's got to bring in. That was a first down in waiting, and they'll have to wait for another series for another chance.
Well, the pressure came off the edge, and Giles turned it into a nice little slant route. It was the right read on his part, reading pressure, crossing his face, and cutting that route off quickly. Just got to bring that pass in and haul it. Great read by Mahomes. Giles has got to complete that one.
Yeah, he knows. 4th down and 3. It'll be booted away by Michael Barton. Should get it off around his 13. Sanders and McCleskey back deep. Oh, fake! And it's caught. Barton's done it again. This time he's done it in the air. Last week it was on a run. And that's Taylor Nunez who caught it. Well, they're pulling out all of the stops today, these Red Raiders. How about that?
That's crazy. Gerald Morrow, number 5, again, was working outside, and he sees it and recognizes it, but it's just a little bit late. You're talking about a gutsy call. That's a heads-up call. It's either desperate or just well received, and it's a tremendous call backed up in your own territory.
You know, in this
man,
offense, I don't know, Spencer, I don't think you call it desperate anymore. I really don't. I hear what you're saying, but in the air raid style, the Mike Leach protege approach, I mean, it's no big deal for them to go for it on 4th down.
I think in most situations where you are able to trade points off, you're absolutely right. I mean, Oklahoma State has shown no capacity to shut them down.
That's right.
So the context, you're absolutely right, is appropriate there.
You know, Justin Phillips is, it's Felton actually that's down, and that's horrible news. They've only got 2 backs, really. Phillips hit him, and he's down on the field at the 40-yard line. We hope he's okay.
Well, they need him. Again, you can see the ankle. Let's see if he turns it.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. You can see he turns it on the inside out, and that's a hyperextended ankle. And those are tough, man, because those ligaments that attach the ankle there don't stretch, and it goes inside out. You can see him. Yeah, that's not a good situation to be in.
Daleon Ward did not make the trip, for those of you just joining us. 93 yards last week. He got banged up through the course of the week. So much so that he was unable to make the trip along with their right tackle, Justin Murphy. This will leave them really with 1 back that they can turn to that's got a lot of carries. They could also maybe go to Quentin White some, although he's used more as a fullback than as a running back. I believe White might be the guy for whom they tab to come in.
Yeah, I think number 23, White, will be the guy. He's a senior, about 215, and again, he doesn't give you the flexibility, though, on 3rd down when you want to run past conflict. He's just not that guy. He's a bigger, physical guy, more like a blocking back.
Yeah, Justin Stockton is the lone setback now. For the time being, he needs to stay healthy for Texas Tech's chances on the ground to be effective. Mahomes, that ball was tipped and then caught by Cantrell. On the tip drill, Dylan Cantrell brings it in. You know, Mahomes was in a position in the run pass option to almost tuck it and go, but that ball was tipped.
I think that was Ramon Richards, number 7, who tipped that ball. He just got hand right underneath it.
And it's Cantrell now, the wide receiver screen. Let's go back and take a look and see if that tip was handled by Richards.
Yeah,
you're right.
Just grabbed it and just got that right paw up there and reflected, but that's great concentration there. I can't trail on the camera.
Second, and we'll call it a short 5.
Cowpokes showing pressure and staying in it.
That's Batson. He's got it. Pass was thrown a little behind him. We got a marker down, though, back near the line of scrimmage.
An eligible man downfield. Offense number 78. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
That's Terrence Steele, and he's getting an earful.
Terrence was playing at that right tackle point. Trey Flowers was back there defending number 31, but again, you can see the left tackle gets downfield down here. A little bit further than he needs to be, blocking downfield, trying to get involved, and he's about almost 10 yards.
Yeah, and right in front of the official, too. Right in front of the umpire.
Call that.
2nd and 10. Negated a 21-yard pickup. Batson is in the slot. Willie's flanked to the bottom of your screen. Stockton, who gets 3 and is then pushed back by Averett and Phillips. 40 and 19. They're going to have a lot of tackles when this game is done. Those two have been very active for Glenn Spencer's defense.
Yeah, Glenn Spencer choosing to stay with the 3-man front. Alternately, David Gibbs, his counterpart, going with the 4-man front to change things up and had some success with that early on.
3rd down and 8. Mahomes being chased. Batson, the intended receiver. Well done defensively by Trey Flowers. That's just excellent technique to stay with Cameron Batson the way he did.
Out of Judson, 6'3", 198, and again, nice release by Mahomes. He feels it, knows exactly where it needs to be. I'm gonna tell you, to be able to throw the ball back across your body like he did just there, with the type of accuracy, that ball should be caught. I mean, that's a great defensive play.
Yeah.
No question by Trey Flowers sticking that long arm in there to break it up. Another pass defense. They've been on a tear as this back end over the last couple of weeks.
Well, Tech punted their first 3 possessions of the first half. None since, and now all of a sudden a couple in a row to open this half. Now you see the bounding ball inside the 10. What is an excellent punt by Barden. They went with the fake, kept the ball alive, and at least flipped the switch in terms of field position, even after they did not convert and keep the drive alive. More of Mason Rudolph coming up. In honor of this Veterans Day weekend, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with your grateful nation and its dedication to supporting special operations veterans as they transition into their next successful career. Visit foxsportssupports.com to learn more. 6,884 American flags are on display on the library lawn at Oklahoma State to honor the American military personnel who died since 9/11. Today, Oklahoma State formally became a Purple Heart University for their outstanding service. Flushed from the pocket and the pass incomplete. Jalen McCleskey was the intended receiver.
Beautiful to see the Purple Heart there at the halftime. Yeah. It was just absolutely gorgeous.
How about the hospitality we've received here in Stillwater?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Went down before the game, saw some of the military personnel that were on hand for this Veterans Day weekend, and our pregame meal was the best I've had all year.
Yeah, you came down with a Cheshire Cat grin on your face, man. A little barbecue on that lip, too.
Oh, it was good. Hill. Well, the freshman sets sail to give the field position back to the Cowboys all the way out to the 38-yard line. So a 30-yard pickup. Allen made the stop, number 38 for Texas Tech. Washington, incomplete. Challenging Justice Nelson again, and he was there to answer.
Well, that play was made possible again by Hill, the youngster out of Booker T. Washington, again showing you patience and poise to hit that edge and then showing you some of that speed. You know, Booker T wears the same colors, that orange and black. Boy, what you say, Hornet? Working that sideline for some plus yardage.
Washington, that ball hit him the wrong way, and I think his hand got turned back, maybe his thumb. He's very, very much in pain as they tend to him down there, so we'll keep an eye on him. 2nd and 10. Over the middle and caught. Lacey again, his 4th grab of the day, down to the 39 of Tech. Jashawn Johnson makes the stop, a gain of 22.
Kason Allen was in a trail technique there and got caught in his hip pocket. Big gainer.
Hill to the 22-yard line. Jashawn Johnson again, another saving tackle.
Mike Yursich, the offensive coordinator, painting this field from left to right in a very impressive fashion.
We get the 5-6 yard chunks on 1st down. It opens up the playbook for Mason Rudolph. Stringer coming in there to help out. After the gain of 4, we'll call it 2nd down and 6.
Youngster looked like he recovered pretty good. That's a nice way to shake it off and get inside that red area where they're so prolific.
Chris Carson is checked back in. Hill had to be gassed a little bit after all those quick bursts. So it's Carson's turn. The senior from Georgia, touchdown.
We used to line these up and call them based on the coast. If you're going to the right side, it's New York or Boston. The stretch play on the outside, he does a nice job of reading that play and moving up the field. Does Carson, avoiding Jashawn Johnson on the outside, the linebacker that had leverage. That's a nice run and score. We're just getting started, Tim.
That young man blew out his left knee as he was making through his senior year at a storied high school in the Atlanta area. Had to forego a commitment, wound up going to Butler Community College in Kansas, then got the opportunity to come here. The youngster from Parkview Prep is worthy of his moment in the sun on senior day. Second touchdown of the afternoon. Oklahoma State secures the lead again. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. With Spencer Tillman, Mike Pereira back in our Los Angeles studios. Tim Brando, happy to have you with us. 7 plays, 92 yards, culminating with that touchdown run from Carson after Hill had done much of the damage on the ground leading up to it. Justice had had 3 big runs. Carson really got in there to give him a blow. Reginald Davis is back deep awaiting this kick. And yet again, you know, those aren't getting that deep into the end zone, and he's not even attempting to come up with them. Interesting. Tomorrow, start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff, and America's #1 pregame show. Then the Falcons face off with the Eagles, followed by Dak Prescott and the Cowboys versus Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers in America's Game of the Week. Or other regional action, coverage begins tomorrow at 11 Eastern on Fox. Texas Tech had a couple of opportunities with a chance to get the lead for the first time. And even after a fake punt, they could not convert. And although they gave Oklahoma State a long field to work with, the drive was converted for better than 90 yards. And they find themselves behind by a touchdown again. Stockton. Not much on first down, maybe a yard.
Oklahoma State front kind of shoring up a little bit, playing stout. Stockton not finding much running there, and Averett and company with their run fits putting up a fight.
Second and 9. Quick out intended for Derek Willis. He could not come down with that one. It was thrown a little bit out in front and a bit low.
You know, Lampkin defending on that play, and that ball was low and away. And Mahomes wish he had that one back again.
We have not seen as yet, Spencer, that incredibly spectacular play by Mahomes. He's usually good for 2 or 3 of them during the course of any game.
Yeah, I think it points to what you mentioned earlier. I'm not so sure how 100% healthy he is.
Yeah. On 3rd and 9, drops that one in, and it's knocked away. Cantrell, the intended receiver. Outstanding defensive work by Justin Phillips.
Phillips was back there. You can see again just a 3-man rush. That window closed tight. Phillips did a nice job of closing in on that very, very quickly.
He had some alligator arms too, though.
Yeah, he did. You know, he had the high heels on going across there. But
he knew he was going to get hit.
Ramon Riches was also there in the back end as well.
McCleskey and Sanders are back deep as Barden boots it away again. Outstanding roll to go along with this one. Well, Michael Barden's had a pretty good couple of weeks, right? 2 converted fake punts. And that one goes for 57 yards. Always entertaining when these two get together. I'm not sure that you'll need 70 to win today. Maybe 65 and a half. 35-28 our score. 6:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And what has been A year of the comeback. When you think about it, Washington State, the mad scientist, was 0-2, 7-0 since. The Sooners, that's after today's win, now 7-0 after the 1-2 start. Auburn is on a roll. Because Malzahn was about to go 1-3, and he got the 1-second blues for Les Miles, who lost his job. But now you see USC post-Sant Darden has made a huge difference. I mean, it's been going on everywhere in college football.
I think the most impactful of those probably Auburn. If they can hold serve against Georgia today, run the table. Rhett Lashley and Gus Malzahn will have done one of the greatest reclamation projects for a long time to set up at Iron Bowl.
Could be interesting, too, what happens with Washington as you see Hill out for maybe 8 or 9 yards as Andre Pipkins, number 9, hauled him down from behind. Listen, there is a scenario out there where if Washington were to lose, the potential is there for Auburn to win out, go to the SEC championship, win, and I'm not sure Alabama would still not be out of things. They could still possibly get in.
As a multi-loss?
Yeah, they could. Rennie Childs is in the game at running back, number 23. It's wide open for him. Jashawn Johnson made the stop. It's another first down. 20 yards for the senior from Cypress High in Houston.
Yep, he's a good one. 208 pounds, and he's built low to the ground. Finds a nice little void, and they're going fast to take advantage of it.
Well, it's McCleskey again. Short of the turnover. He's had a very productive day. Justice Nelson the stop. A 12-yard gain there.
Found a defensive end buzz into the flat. That was a steal.
Out of the shotgun. Childs again. Gets to the 36, so a gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Luke Stice on the tackle. Zach Spavital, the linebackers coach, has got a group of young guys that are undersized that are doing everything they can to haul down guys that are larger than they are once they get into the Texas Tech perimeter. 2nd down and 5 after a 5-yard gain. Justice Hill is back in the game at running back. Stice piercing through that time for a loss.
Stice with a nice open field tackle. Again, the only thing wrong with that one, he had his head on the inside, but you don't get any more textbook than that. Penetration will destroy the execution of a play like that. Stice playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him knife in right through there. Tremendous job. Knew he had help and leverage on the outside. It's a great football play.
3rd down and 6. The ball at the 39-yard line of Texas Tech. Looping it for Washington to the back shoulder, and he's got it. There's a lot of jousting going on there between he and Nelson. He created some space for himself.
Yeah, he really did.
22-yard gain.
It's just field presence, the release, the physical release, and again, understanding where you are on the field between the numbers. Gave himself an allowance of an additional 10 yards between the numbers and the sideline for error. That's just a tremendous effort by a veteran player with great athleticism and field presence.
I like the no call there, don't you?
Yeah, I do like it. I mean, again,
it's just football.
Absolutely.
1st and 10. From the 17. Nice cutback by Carson. Gets those rugged yards between the tackles. Malik Jenkins made the stop.
And he made Jashawn Johnson miss there in open field. But again, showing you that kind of ability to move in traffic. And Jenkins was that last stop there to prevent him from heading to the end zone.
2nd and 2. Cowboy back is Veach. He's lined up right in front of Carson. They go heavy left. Well, had a problem with the snap controlling it, and that's just going to turn into a negative play for Mason Rudolph as Jashawn Johnson comes in there. He had a little difficulty getting the handle on that.
You know, Mason's got to be, first of all, he's got to seat the ball, but he cannot become his own blocker. I know what he's trying to do, but 2 things. The running back has got to understand what's just happened to his quarterback and protect him and become a lead blocker. Mason's got to go down and, first of all, seat the ball first and protect himself.
So 3rd down and 3. The line to make is the Texas Tech 7. Just inside the 7. Hill stopped in his tracks. Jenkins again there to wrap him up. May have actually lost a little yardage, about a half yard or so.
And watch Malik Jenkins coming down on his 3 technique inside as a stand-up guy, working right down the line of scrimmage to shut that play down.
Well, that is a bit of a win for this Texas Tech defense to hold them to 3. Grogan comes in. His career-long 47 yards. He's only has to navigate 27 with this one. Look at those numbers, though. Pretty consistent throughout his career. Leading scorer all time. Right through. So the lead is 10, but the Red Raiders hang tough inside the red zone. Stopping Mason Rudolph and company with the help of one errant snap. (38-28) our score. Oklahoma State with the lead. Another very productive drive for Mason Rudolph and company. But I'm telling you, that guy right there is very happy to have seen only 3 come from that lengthy drive.
It's not the equivalent of breaking serve, but when you know both these teams are capable of scoring at will, that's a win on that last possession.
Reginald Davis does field this one and gets it out to the 20-yard line. So what's happening in Death Valley? It's been pretty entertaining to this point. Let's get a game break from Anthony Masterson.
Number 2 Clemson already has 5 wins this season by a TD or less, and they're getting a battle from Pitt today. Third quarter, Tigers up 1. Deshaun Watson finds Deion Kane for the 27-yard score. Watson's 3rd TD of the game, got a season high in passing yards. Clemson on top, 35-27, but Pitt in the red zone. Tim, Spencer.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Boy, it sounds like I'm throwing it back to John Facenda today.
That's right. It sounds got those pipes working, baby.
He really does. Good to have you aboard, Anthony. Quick look in for Cutie. And he's ahead to the 25-yard line. So, again, Texas Tech, when they have been effective today, most of that in the second quarter, they got quality yards on first down. Quentin White remains in the backfield.
Yeah, the quick pass game has really been their ticket today. We've not seen a lot of those deep downfield passes, but we've certainly seen a lot of underneath stuff.
Mahomes drops it on the check down to Cutie for a first down beyond the 30. Jossie Hakeem with the stop.
Hakeem working from his linebacker position made a nice stop there. But again, the consistent theme of these coverage is doing the job so that these linebackers are now in position to make plays on 3- and 4-yard catches.
Mahomes. Oh, that's got to be a hold. Willies was absolutely held and then thrown down at the 40-yard line by Ashton Lampkin, who was beaten. It would have been a touchdown otherwise, so probably a wise choice to throw him to the turf the way he did.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. The 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Lampkin knew he was in trouble again on the release. You can see him working. He's get that hand all the way wrapped around his hip. I tell you, that clearly was a foul.
Yeah, you think?
Good Lord.
And there was still a smattering of boos, huh?
Yeah, that's what was shocking me. I'm sitting there saying, good Lord.
Oh, it's a little reverse.
Nice.
Back to Mahomes and then back to a wide open receiver. The kitchen sink from the Texas Tech sidelines. You got to give Cliff Kingsbury a lot of credit. That's Mason Reed, number 29 on the receiving end.
That's the fullback again. That was a low development play, but 2 things made it work for Cliff Kingsbury. It was his quarterback heads-up play as they go pace and tempo to get rid of that ball with pressure in his face.
24 yards on the game. Now Mahomes throwing it for the corner, incomplete. Cantrell, the intended receiver, being knocked around by Trey Flowers in coverage.
Yeah, Mason Reed is the fullback. You're going to see him kind of trickle out there late, trying to be a little bit sneaky, but Mahomes had pressure in his face. If he didn't have pressure, maybe Reed is up the field, up the sideline on a wheel route and continues on from some additional yardage. But as it was Mahomes making the best of a difficult situation.
Yeah, this is fun. It's really a lot of fun to watch what they're doing. Just to hang in this game, to make it, is it? Whatever it takes to win the game, you know that Kingsbury and company are going to do it. They know their deficiencies, and they play around them as best they can. Mahomes, beautifully done. That's Mason Reed again. Shoestring tackle made inside the 10 at the 7 by Jordan Stearns. Another 23 yards this time for Reed.
A lot going on in that play with Quentin White Jr., who came in at the running back position, gave a nice block to allow Mahomes to escape and continue to extend that play.
Got 217 yards now. And there's Mahomes. He wants it. He got it. Touchdown. That was fast. Fifth touchdown, 3 passing, 2 running for him. What a performance again for him. It seems like he's breaking his own records every time out.
3 touchdowns and an interception last week. Again, he felt this one on the ground, and he had used the assistant of a body underneath him to get it done. That's a nice touchdown.
I'm not sure if our replay official Don Capro wants to take another look at it, but if he does, yeah, I believe they are going to review it. But he's clearly on top of another player. Therefore, this touchdown should count. I don't think the shoulder or elbow hit.
Yeah, Jordan Burton, number 20, was underneath him. You can see Burton here.
See where the elbow is? It is on another player.
Yeah.
The ball is already crossing the plane. I don't think you can overturn that.
Maybe the top of his hand.
Yeah, but see
down.
the ball, you don't from that angle you don't see where the ball is crossing the plane. I believe the ball did cross the plane, therefore it's a touchdown. We said this earlier on a 4th down try.
If you can't see it.
Well, the bottom line is until we have, and you can't put it, it's impossible, right? But a camera on every 1st down line where you can see just straight across the field from the
you won't be able to overturn
field level.
That call.
No, you cannot overturn that. Mike Pereira will give us his opinion on the matter. Mike?
Well, we're looking at the wrist here, the back of the wrist. It's not the wrist that puts you down. You've got to get all the way to the forearm. And really, it's pretty hard to me to tell where the ball is when that forearm hits. It would seem to me you would want to let this stand.
Yeah. That's sort of the point. And when you say indisputable video evidence, Mike, and this comes up at the end zone more oftentimes than not. And you see there's a player underneath him, and there's the ball across the plane, and again, we don't see where the wrist is on that shot. So until we have cameras always on the end zone line where the plane of the end zone is, I don't know that you could ever overturn what the call on the field is.
That's down pretty early, but
yeah. You know, I agree with you, but then we looked at that catch on the sideline and thought that was pretty obvious.
Right. That's the truth.
And yet they stay with that. So the one thing that this proves, replay proves, is that, you know, even though you're talking about technology, it's still humans that are making decisions here. So it does involve judgment. And this is a close one, but to me, I mean, I never really fault, as a rule, never fault them staying with the call on the field. The big mistake is when they reverse it when they shouldn't.
Touchdown.
And it does stand. I'm with you, Mike. I do. The term indisputable, or terms indisputable video evidence, I still believe maybe we need to redefine that so that we all have a better understanding of it.
Well, I'm just glad. You know, and actually in the NFL, they actually changed it in the NFL to it's clear and obvious. They got rid of the word indisputable, and they went clear and obvious, which probably better.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Thanks, Mike. For the extra point now, Clayton Hatfield. And now suddenly that defensive stand by Texas Tech, holding Oklahoma State to a field goal, matters. Really does. Patrick Mahomes is in rhythm right now, partner. Look at that. Look at that stat line. And it's, you know, we've still got 24 ticks left in this quarter and an entire 4th.
Well, I just think it's the anatomy of his success. Again, it's not those fireworks down the field. He has really navigated, dealt with pressure, mixed in the run game, tucked it when he's had to run it on occasion. The anatomy of his success is beautiful.
Well, coming up, my friend, I'll be pretty busy this week.
Yes, you will be.
Tuesday night, college basketball action will return to FS1. It's the Gavitt tip-off games. Melo Trimble and the Maryland Terps. The Terrapins taking on the Hoyas of Georgetown. Then Nigel Hayes and the Wisconsin Badgers collide with Creighton. The excitement begins Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern on FS1. The Governor, Bill Raftery, and Gus Johnson will be together for the first one, and Jimmy Jackson will join me in Omaha for that really quality game between Creighton and Wisconsin. Big East versus Big Ten. Lots of fun. Rob Stone and the guys, our studio crew, will be coming out from Los Angeles and join us out in Omaha, so we look forward to seeing all of them. Sanders is back deep. Will take it from his one. We've got a marker down at the 26-yard line. Thrown in an area where block in the back or holding can usually be the call. 27-yard return could be nullified.
During the return, holding, return team number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Grant Newell, a reserve receiver.
There's the look at what we've had take place already today. Iowa State had to come from behind to get that victory against Kansas.
Wow.
Matt Campbell gets his first conference win as a head coach. West Virginia, that was a big win for them. Skylar Howard, a kid from Fort Worth, goes into Austin and beats Texas. He grew up wanting to be in the Burnt Orange and got a little revenge today. And Baker Mayfield stays hot at home, and Oklahoma is on pace for Bedlam to matter for the Big 12 title potentially. This team is interested in that, and there again is Rudolph for Washington. He will take it post to post, touchdown.
And they've been laying dead for that one for a long time. They've been keeping him isolated and then finally got him to the wide side of the field on a post route. Again, Justice Nelson assigned the responsibility of their most prolific player. Got burned on that one big time. Washington shows you his speed, ability to separate. Again, Nelson's not slow, man, but he just walked away from him there on the big end.
Rogan with the extra point. Listen, Justice Nelson had done a solid job all day long, but at some point, and you're in man coverage, this guy's going to get a big play at some point.
Again, part of it is just how did the anatomy of it, the play action away, gives us an opportunity against single coverage here. No deep help in the middle. Oklahoma State 264 yards in this quarter. Washington a big chunk of it on that play, and the horses are riding, and Washington is scoring. I'm telling you, he's something special. Number 28 is on fire.
You know, they talk about what a wonderful young man he is. In fact, Mike Gundy said, have you ever seen him talk? He actually asked Gavin. Yeah, he asked his sports information director at our meetings yesterday. I don't know that I've ever seen him talk. So he's no diva in a school that has produced a lot of great wide receivers that maybe had that reputation of being a diva.
Absolutely. There's been a long line of them, and again, we don't have to name them, but there's quite a few. And
let's just say some of them stayed Cowboys.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. We can connect the dots.
Yeah. Davis is back deep, awaiting the kick. He'll take it from his 5. On what will be the final play, potentially, of the quarter. And a great stop by Lindsey Pipkins, the graduate transfer from ULM. Mansfield, Texas native, makes the play. One of the seniors on display as this young man, James Washington. What an outstanding junior performer this youngster from tiny Stanford, Texas is. Big time. Cowboys lead by 10 again. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Well, they use these chants pistols firing and guns up for these two schools. So to say this is a shootout is not politically incorrect.
Well,
that's what we've got.
Absolutely on the point. And again, James Washington is doing it once again. 117 yards last week, 82 collected on the one big play that we just saw a minute ago for another score. This guy is a machine. He had to wait long and a hard time for that particular opportunity, but when it came in bunches.
Jonathan Giles takes that crossing pattern out to the 30-yard line for a first down. You used a tennis analogy earlier on James Washington, and also when Texas Tech had held Oklahoma State to 3. We're going to go back to that on Washington in a moment. Mahomes, this is where he's really dangerous.
Wow.
Beautifully done to Cameron Batson. He just finds guys when he's outside the pocket. Trey Flowers makes the stop. That's a 13-yard gain.
It's one thing to throw the ball across your body, but he's going the opposite direction and finds a guy in the middle of the field from the numbers. That's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. How about that ad lib? He goes to the left hand to get it to Quentin White, and that saves them about 5 yards. He's ahead for a 1 from the line of scrimmage. Trey Carter makes the stop.
Those two series of plays, creating and extending and avoiding negative plays, is why this team can never be counted out.
And that was a little Favre-esque, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
How he did that. 2nd and 9. Markers fly as Quentin White was being handed the ball. Looks like a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 78. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
This is how good of an athlete James Washington is, okay? In a tiny school being recruited by, among other people, right? Mike Gundy. Turns out they have a tennis team and they don't have anyone to play, so they ask him to play tennis. He goes all the way to the state championship as a tennis player. How about that?
Never played it before.
Never played.
How about that?
That's what we call in West Texas a fine athlete.
He is a natural.
Yes, a natural athlete. 2nd and 14. Mahomes under pressure. What a pass. Cuty's got it. And now we're seeing some of those plays from Mahomes that you usually see 3 or 4 times. The wow plays. Now they're coming into vogue.
And Jordan Burton, number 20, is working underneath those crossing routes as Mahomes gets that ball away. He's trying to figure out what the heck just happened there. He's in close proximity, but the bottom line is he's made another play. 3 consecutive Houdini-esque type plays by number 5.
From the 46 of Oklahoma State. Looking for Cutie. Did not get turned around, and I think the ball actually wound up closer to Dylan Cantrell than it did to Kiki Cutie.
I think Dylan pulled up on that a little bit. He probably should have kept going. And again, I know that's what Mahomes saw. He wanted to go deep on the out.
Both of them were in the general area.
Yep.
Patrick just needed to get rid of it because the pressure was coming. That's a big one tonight, folks. You don't want to miss it. Washington and USC on Fox. They kick at 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 Pacific.
What a job Chris Peterson has done.
Yeah, big time. Only a matter of time before you knew he was going to get it together. Safety valve is Quentin White. Little spin move gets him to the 45. So the line to make is still the 36-yard line of Oklahoma State. 3rd down and a long 8 coming up here.
Let's see what Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator, decides to do. He's going to play coverage, as has been his philosophy all night, with just 3 defensive linemen.
White. Well, that's a play you call knowing 4th down is in play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. You get as much as you possibly can, spread them out, and Cliff is going to go for it. You can book that.
Jordan Burton and Justin Phillips.
4 down territory for this guy. 4 down territory.
4th and 3. White remains in the game. Remember, DeMarcus Felton is hurt. DeLeon Ward didn't make the trip. They're 2 of 2 on conversions on 4th down today. This is their 3rd try. Mahomes dumps it at the last moment possible. And I believe it's going to be a 1st down. That's Quentin White. He was right at the line to make before being pushed back. Let's see where that mark is going to be. Left or right foot?
Justin Phillips was there, number 19 around.
It is a 1st down.
That's going to be a 1st down, Tim. Again, the 3-man rush caught him that time. Set it down to White in the between those zones, finding a soft spot, just dunking and dinking.
Mahomes on the cross. Giles dropped it again. That's 2 that he's had right in the breadbasket and dropped.
Well, that's untenable there. When you got a wide open shot and opportunity on a shallow crossing route, you've beaten the linebacker Burton, number 20, wide open. Wow.
He knows it.
Yep.
He's a young man that's got a lot of talent. Just a sophomore, but 2 big drops for him today. 2nd and 10.
Late blitz pressure.
There had to be some contact there. Yes, Batson was interfered with by Trey Flowers.
Yeah, Trey clicked his heels there, and he knows it. And a little bombastic celebration on the back end, but there certainly was contact there.
Let's put in perspective yet again as we wait the call here from Mike DeFee.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 31. Spot foul. Automatic. 1st down.
You can see the route right there on the outside. He gets that left hand and pulls him back around. And Batson, you can see his body kind of give in to Trey Flowers as he took that hand and jerked him around.
1st and 10 from the 22. Quentin White remains the setback, and Batson in motion. Wide receiver screen to Batson. He reverses his field, and now Mahomes sets a block for him. And he vaults himself inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. Well, that was quite an ad-lib job from Cameron Batson.
Yeah, but when they look at that from the all-22, if you're going to reverse your field, you might as well head to the far side. You had a blocker who's willing to block, and your quarterback standing over there on the opposite side. If you're going to reverse your field, you got to make sure that the angles are proper, and he had more land to navigate on the outside if he would have continued.
2nd down and a long 5. Empty backfield. Mahomes has plenty of room, and he knows where the sticks are. 1st down. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Red Raiders just inside the 10. 8-yard pickup there.
Oklahoma State had pressure dialed up late, but again, it was just 3 guys that was generating that pressure. As Cliff looks on, he's got a sense that he's got an opportunity with the field here now. Some miscommunication by Oklahoma State getting personnel on the field.
By field, you mean to the bottom of your screen,
to the
right?
to the wide side. The field is where the most yards between the sideline and where the play is set up. Boundary will be the short side. There you go.
In the corner, Cutie. Out of bounds. He dropped it too. But you don't have a lot of foul ground there. In defense of any receiver in this stadium, and both are down. Now that's padded over there. Trey Flowers also down. They'll both be slow to get up. But that padding alone with the speed with which they are running into that wall cannot be enough to break the pain when you make contact with it.
Yeah, you're running a post or a corner route in that particular situation. I mean, you're right there. You're sitting. It's an intimate place, great to watch a game. But if you're a player and you're trying to navigate, looking and sighting that ball and tracking it.
Spencer, that was an outstanding defensive play. Flowers got his hand in there and knocked it free right in here. Watch. Ball is being knocked away.
Yep.
Cutie thought he could have it and then retain it. I mean, it's like football's version of Fenway Park.
Yeah, I think the
2nd and goal.
The ball gets a pass defense on that too.
Mahomes looking for some help. Just throws it away in the general direction of Giles. His receivers were doing all they could to come back and help him
You know, a point we've made a lot of times when Cliff Kingsbury has his quarterback down in this area. For most quarterbacks, conventional quarterback, a third of your playbook is going to go out of the window. But for Mahomes, it actually expands because of his mobility. And then when you add the creative playmaking he's already demonstrated on this series, it sure puts a lot of stress on the defense to defend this guy.
3rd and goal. Here he goes again. He got a block. Up for grabs in the end zone. Incomplete. Wow. Everett knocked it down. You know, Glenn Spencer made a comment to us, the defensive coordinator, about how many jump balls that Mahomes will throw. He said, you know, I'm a little surprised he doesn't have more passes picked off. I think his receivers do a nice job of becoming defenders when they have to.
Yeah, but there's some passes, you're right, Timmy, but this one was ill-advised. He should have never thrown this one, had too much air under it. And you're right, those guys are coached up to become defenders on that play, but he's fortunate that that one's not picked off. Everett is back there in the deep zone, dropping back. He doesn't have much vertical as a linebacker, but certainly those guys covering on the back end could jump and pluck that one out of the air.
Only 8 interceptions for him this season, 27 yards this kick, and it's right through the uprights for Hatfield. And when you consider how many touchdowns he's thrown to have only 8 picks is something. Well, Everett says A-OK. We got the ball to the ground and held them to 3. A majestic sunset here at Boone Pickens Stadium. Matches with the color scheme inside this facility that Boone has spent so much of his hard-earned money on. And let's take a look now at the Nissan Heisman Watch, Spencer T.
Well, you see my underclass quarterbacks are still leading the charge there. By the way, those numbers for Lamar Jackson at Louisville is updated as our running back at Deontay Foreman of Texas. We had to slide him in there after seeing the performance, record-setting performance he had last week in our matchup against Texas Tech. And again, the rest round out. Deshaun Watson, Dumfries been up there. He's been a mainstay. And, of course, Jake Browning, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the nation, round out my top 5.
Oh, and onside. Onside, and they got it. They did. They absolutely got it, and it's Amendola who kicked it that's on top of it.
Wow.
Oh, Barden, I beg your pardon, not Amendola. So they went with Barden rather than Amendola because they went onside. And he pulled it off. Listen, that's 3 trick plays, and they've all worked to perfection.
Well, it's part of their DNA. And again, you made the comment earlier that it's not really a risk in certain situations. If you don't have the hands teams out there, why not go for it? That's an outstanding call.
They didn't pick up on the fact that Amendola wasn't kicking. And I mean, that's what happened. Barden handled that, and he was beautiful, and he stayed with it and got the recovery.
Yeah, you know, Barden's a great athlete. By the way, you can tell the way he's put together. Got down there and navigated it effectively.
By the way, we didn't pick up on it either, but it happens. That's Quentin White. And it's on the ground. Oklahoma State says they've got it. And they do. Well, that's a momentum crusher right there. Just as you thought you had the ball back.
Quentin White, not known for his moves inside, was actually making a pretty good move in traffic. And that turnover goes back the opposite direction. You're talking about taking the life, sucking the joy right out of a moment.
Vincent Taylor, 96 on top of it. Young man that migrated to San Antonio after Hurricane Katrina has had 3 blocked kicks during the course of this year. That's the best in the Big 12. And he comes away with the pilfer here after White lost it on the strip. And Barden is like, all right, you got to be kidding me, really? After all that hard work. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman. Mike Pereira is back in Los Angeles, our FS1 team. Happy to have you with us. Well, final Big 12 outing of the afternoon, and they go reverse, double reverse. It's Washington. So McCleskey to Washington, pretty well defended that time by Chris Williams, number 6, who stayed home, the senior from Bryan Adams High in Dallas, Texas.
Long time developing. McCleskey to Washington again, pressure upfield, forced him back an additional 3 or 4 yards, 5 from the line of scrimmage, and contained that pretty good.
Stringer's penetration helped the play in many ways for Chris Williams. 2nd and 9. Hill. Well, he got north and south in a hurry, didn't he?
He really did. And you know, the thing about it, if you're watching at home, little ones out there, don't go out of bounds. He saw every bit of that green field in front of him. He got his shoulders square, as Timmy pointed out, with the line of scrimmage, and got downhill. Did Hill on that one for an additional 7 yards. Outstanding run.
Allen, the free safety, knocked him out. 1st and 10 from the 41 of Texas Tech. Rudolph. Well, that's a fantastic play by Stice. Piercing through there. Normally, Mason Rudolph is strong enough to stay alive on a play like that. He busted through and hit him good enough to get him to the ground.
Cool hand Luke Slice got that hand in there and sliced him down. It's a great job of getting skinny, coming off the edge, hands up initially, and then of course when Rudolph brought the hands down to move outside the pocket, presence of mind and the athleticism to nail him down. That's a tremendous recognition and reaction and control of your body by Stice.
Loss of 7, 2nd and 17. Well, Texas Tech defensively is standing up pretty well here. Jashawn Johnson and Malik Jenkins there ready for Justice Hill that time.
Jashawn was really playing that play with leverage and helped Jenkins out. Jashawn was on the outside as David Gibbs looks on and tries to get his charges motivated. Look, they had 4 key stops against Texas. They denied them late several opportunities to get their offense back into the game, but I'll tell you, sometimes it's just not enough against these high-powered offensive attacks, but they're stepping up right now.
Well, Cliff Kingsbury told us, hey, we got the ball back with a chance at the end, and that's
all you can ask
as a head coach, and with this offense, that's what you want. Rudolph towards the boundary, incomplete. Well defended by the freshman Douglas Coleman. McCleskey, the intended receiver. It was Coleman that had what they're now calling a 100-yard fumble return from Foreman last week.
Yeah, McCleskey has a nice little job on this out cut. He's got the guy beat. He got a little bit anxious, wanting to go back underneath and work the leverage against the defender inside of him. Just should have settled in and caught that ball and been satisfied with the gain. He wanted to make a huge play, and he had an opportunity to do that.
Zach Siner will punt it away. Cameron Batson back deep. Fair catch being called at the 12. More of the nation's passing leader, who's decided to make a few wow plays in the 3rd quarter. You could say wowza any time Patrick Mahomes is on the field.
Yes, sir.
Coming up next, the UFC's legendary New York debut begins on FS1 with the biggest prelims card in UFC history. UFC 205 prelims live from Madison Square Garden, next only on FS1. Now, the actual prelims themselves are scheduled to begin in about 7 minutes, so they'll be over on FS2, and then we will join them in progress as soon as our game concludes here on FS1. First down from Mahomes. Courtney White is in the backfield. A pass intended for Derek Willie's incomplete at the 22-yard line.
Again, the reoccurring theme tonight is coverage. It's all about the number of bodies on the back end for this defense for Oklahoma State.
On 2nd and 10, that's Cantrell with a reception. Out to the 22-yard line. Ramon Richards makes the grab.
Mahomes beat a little late pressure on that. You can see Glenn Spencer there on the right. You can see it right there. One of the great coaches in this business that connects with his players in a unique way, gets the most out of them. And today they've acquitted him well.
Pickup of 11 there for the Red Raiders. And the idea is to keep the big plays in front of you as best you can, knowing that it's about points per possession that really matters. Pretty good separation that time for Tony Brown that he got in single coverage against Lampkin. And he has it out to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, in the last 2 plays, though, you see this with 3 men getting pressure on the quarterback, Mahomes, and at least touching him and letting them know they're around.
2nd down and 7. Ooh, how about that RPO, huh? Cutie gets it past the 34 to the 35. That's a 1st down. Phillips made the hit, a 7-yard gain. He deked the run here.
Yeah, they really did, and it was a quick one. It was a quick slant, a looky route is what we call it, and he found it really quick despite the pressure, and they're laying some leather out there right now.
You won't see Mahomes that often with design runs between the tackles. It's not his bag, so to speak. And that was one of the questions that we asked Cliff Kingsbury actually before the Texas game. He said, yeah, if it's not something he's that thrilled with, then we're not going to do it. Quentin Wright stopped back at the 32-yard line. Again, great penetration from Darian Daniels, 79.
Darian Daniels was not fooled at all by this ISO. It's almost like a lag draw where you're trying to get everybody working the speed rush to the direction that you open up. But he wasn't fooled on that play at all.
2nd and 11 after the loss. Pressure off the corner. It's Justin Phillips.
Justin Phillips came down late out of this safety position. Hey, 19. He was right there, man, all over the quarterback. Mahomes didn't have a chance, and he brought him down with intentionality.
3rd and 20. And with just 4 and change remaining, they may want to pick up about half of it here and go on 4th down. Chances of getting the ball back against Oklahoma State, not always the easiest. Mahomes, beautifully done to Batson for a 1st down. How about that? Out to the 48-yard line. Cameron Batson, a 23-yard gain. Jordan Burton made the tackle. 20 yards, no big deal. Swing it out to Jonathan Giles. Jonathan Giles. That's 33 yards.
Averett brings him down, but not before a huge gain. And again, that 2-play sequence there just shows you not just Giles' athleticism and speed to run away from folks, but Mahomes' capability to create. He's been doing it all day.
I don't know if he came down on top of the ball or if maybe there's a hamstring issue here, but he had to take himself out of the game. White stays in the backfield. And now we've got a timeout taken by the Cowboys. Again, what's at stake? Oklahoma State needs to continue to win for Bedlam to be for the Big 12 title. Oklahoma held serve today at home in their victory against Baylor.
Here's a 3rd and long, Timmy, against trips to the right side of the field. Mahomes escaping away, just lifts that ball right between that zone. I'm telling you, man, this guy's like a lit fuse racing to a point to explode. He just finds the opportunity and just takes off when he needs to affect the play. And then Giles comes up lame on this play, but again shows you his ability to run away. But for Averett, number 40, the linebacker that once goes down there and gets him.
See, I think maybe the ankle. Maybe he was a little bit banged up by that, but he took himself out. Walked off on most of his own power. He might be just a little bit winded. 5 catches, 77 yards. They may need him between now and the end zone. Mahomes is now up to 344 yards in the air, 34-51, 3 touchdowns in the air and 2 on the ground. Quentin White. Well, they're doing this down to their 3rd tailback, too. I mean, DeLeon Ward didn't even make the trip. Texas Tech playing strong down the stretch. They're making Oklahoma State earn it if they're going to get it at home and win their 8th straight against the Red Raiders.
Well, Cliff is finding windows down here because, again, they're still in the 3-man front. Over the guards, there's no one there to contest the short run game.
2nd and 4.
See these holes right here, Tim? Versus a 3 front? That's inviting someone to run, particularly on a 2nd down and 4 with yards to give.
Right on cue. And White burrows down about a yard shy of the 1st down.
So again, they'll spin that play on a 2nd and 4, 2nd and as long as it's below 5, they'll take that every single day. You've got to do something to affect them, and that you either bring a safety down or bring a linebacker and put them in that gap and bail them out if you want to, but you really are inviting them there. And this is another invitation.
3rd down and 2. Line to make just outside the 10-yard line. Wow. Batson is in the slot to the top of your screen. Mahomes has room. Intended for Batson. Markers down in the end zone. Should be interference. Trey Flowers was providing the coverage, number 31.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. Foul caught in the end zone. By rule, ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
Well, it's a lot to ask these guys. You can see him. He's got his jersey all over. Those white jerseys and those hands on the back of it, you can see it. They'll catch it every single time. It's so tough to ask a big safety, particularly a strong safety, to cover a cat receiver like that in open field. That's tough for that long, lanky safety.
2 minutes left. 1st and goal from the 2, and Quentin White remains in the backfield with Mason Reed, 29. Nothing doing. In fact, stuffed a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage there. Back at the 5-yard line, Jordan Stearns with the penetration.
Stearns is the free safety. Number 13 says nothing lucky about this when you come in here. And they did the Oklahoma State front to an uneven look, meaning there's everybody that's covered on one side and one gap opposite of where the flow of the play is coming. The net of it is they ran right into the teeth of the defense. Great defensive play by Glenn Spencer.
2nd down and goal coming up. You know, Texas Tech has lost so many close games. This team, the Cowboys, have won so many close games. 10-1 in their last 11 games, decided by 9 or fewer. And really, when you think about it, that only loss, which is another conversation worth having in terms of where this team is. If they can win out, Spencer, think about it. If they win out, the College Football Playoff Committee would have to take into consideration, I think they already do, that's why they're ranked where they are at 13, that they are really a one-loss team. That Central Michigan win, although it does count, is one that should have gone their way, and I believe the committee is aware of that. 2nd and goal, let's see what happens here. Bootleg action. Mahomes with some room on his own. Just before he could reach for the pylon, he was knocked out. Are they going to give him touchdown? I think they did. The linesman has come over and said touchdown. It's such tight quarters over there. It's really difficult to tell. But the linesman gave him the pylon. If the ball hits the pylon, it's touchdown. It did. Touchdown. Touchdown. Ball hits the pylon, it's touchdown.
Let's see if
you got to make sure that he did not hit out of bounds before the ball hit the pylon.
Well, that's
the
I don't think
issue.
you're going to be able to overturn it, though, Tim.
Right here, this is the angle you want.
Oh, his knee was down.
I think his knee was down before the ball touched the ground before he touched it.
His left knee was down before the ball actually hit the pylon.
Yeah. That's why I didn't give it to him initially. Again, now that the knee is down there, I think
it's a
bang bang. It's a bang bang play.
No question. Great.
And Mike Pereira will give us his opinion on the matter right now. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think he's short. I think you know, we looked at the extension of the ball first. When we finally got this shot, watch when the knee hits. It's before the ball touches the pylon, so it's got to be short because the pylon's out of bounds in the end zone. So to me, when they look at this, they will put the ball down at the half-yard line, somewhere inside the 1.
Left foot.
Just so people understand, if you hit the pylon, it's automatically a touchdown, but you have to be in bounds, and he's not when that knee touches. It's bang bang. It's almost like a safe at first or out at first kind of play, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get actually, it looks like a touch of the toe even before the knee hits there. So
when we're watching it live in the corner, the stands are so very close to that end zone, which we showed you earlier. I didn't know if he'd actually touched the pylon because we were only with the replay could you see that. But again, it's where that knee comes down, and then is the knee down out of bounds before he touches the pylon inbounds. The knee is down there.
Yeah.
Just a millisecond before he hits the pylon.
I think it's clear.
They are going to mark this short. It's taken too much time.
After reviewing the play, the runner's knee was down out of bounds short of the goal line. It's going to be third down at the 1-foot line.
Cliff Kingsbury had ample time to go over what he wanted.
Yeah, he's got a decision to make here too, and then to go for 1 or 2 if they get in. That's
interesting point. First, they've got to get in.
Yeah, they got to get in, but he's got a decision to make after that.
Touchdown, White. Gosh, you got to give them a lot of credit. Down to their third back. You could argue that it's their fourth back with the injury to Felton. No DeLeon Ward. White had been used more as a fullback than anything else in recent memory whenever they had one of those in their alignment. They are going to go for the extra point and play for overtime here. Hatfield will come in for the extra point. Unless, of course, he fakes it. He's 3 for 3 with trick plays today. Ooh, did he miss it? He missed it.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that? Well, he was 1 of 1 from field goals from a week ago. Had a game-winning 37-yarder against TCU 2 games back. Had not missed a college field goal inside of 40 in his career coming in to today's game.
I mean, he just opened his face on it like a club.
Right.
Wow.
That's why every play counts. And it's amazing, isn't it, how many times this guy has dodged it?
What was his
in
mantra?
this program? It's amazing.
He told us yesterday there are 3 things: show no fear, no fatigue, or no frustration.
Right.
Nothing on his face there, but the pressure clearly shown on the kicker, and that guy right there, Cliff Kingsbury. Wow.
All right, the Red Raiders do have 3 timeouts remaining. No doubt we'll use them all here. But again, Oklahoma State so very good at moving the ball all day. And Hatfield's, he knew right away. Again, as we said, had not missed a college football field goal inside the 40-yard area in his career, and misses that extra point. You have to feel for that young man.
Somebody's got to get in his ear, because that kind of stuff can stay with you a long time.
It can. Washington on top of it.
Yeah, no chance.
The hands team brings it in at the 45-yard line, and now David Gibbs' defense has to do something that is a very difficult chore in this conference on the road, and that's get a stop.
Yeah, the good hands team is on, and again, he's been limited. The long, big play and the touchdown withstanding, but no play more significant than that one right there for number 28, James Washington, tonight. And again, Hatfield's reaction to that, this just sucks the life right out of you, man. Wow. Feel for that young man.
Chris Carson is the lone setback on first down. We'll go back, Spencer, when we have a moment and look at that kick again. Chris Carson with a healthy gain to the 28. Sometimes in situations like that, you wonder if the hold was not a problem for the kicker. And Cameron Batson, watch if the ball moves at all.
You always try to look at the lace.
Right there.
Yeah, it did move late. The
Slightly.
Ball, it opened
a very slight move.
The ball leaned toward the holder.
Yep.
And it was almost like the face of it on the club.
You did notice that the ball did move, though, and
no
it could take the slightest move that could throw the kicker off. And by the way, it's Batson who held for the extra point that's also down on the field.
This is Hill.
Excuse me, it's Colin Hill. I beg your pardon. It's down. We have dueling 13s. Colin Hill 13 is down on the field, the defender. But you know, sometimes something as slight as that, just a very slight move.
It's so cliche. We talk about game of inches, but that's exactly what happened. The hold leaned toward the holder, and it just came. It's just like the face of a club head, Tim, opened up.
Well, I noticed in his reaction that he looked a little bit down towards his holder.
Well, it won't be difficult to find out exactly what happened when they look at that on tape, and it's unfortunate for both.
All right, still Texas Tech with 3 timeouts remaining. The ball is now inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Still, your heart goes out to that young man. You know how badly he must feel.
His body language tells you everything there needs to know. You're looking almost for some place to hide, even though when they look at it, they're going to determine it wasn't his fault. It was the hold.
David Gibbs trying to gather his guys and make sure they know that this baby is not over. Still an opportunity for a stop. Full complement of timeouts remaining. Oh, by the way, one of those teams that had made a tremendous comeback we were talking about earlier, Auburn. They lost today at Georgia.
Big win for Kirby Smart. That was huge.
Somebody's got to win the SEC East. see who it might be. Do we have another timeout coming? I believe we might. Texas Tech is taking it. So they made sure that they were going to run the clock, and they didn't want to lose that time, so they immediately decided to take the timeout.
Cliff's engaged in a little situational football right here, and this is where you really earn your keep a lot of times. Giving them an extended plan based on the context of the situation. Coach Gibbs is in there as well.
Boy, I mean, you think about being snake bit sometimes against certain programs and matchups. Their last win in 2008, Leach was coaching that team.
And Cliff was
that was in Stillwater. The last time in Stillwater in 2001 was the last time that Kingsbury. Graham Harrell was quarterbacking in 08 with Mike Leach. But the last time they won here, which was the point we made earlier today, it was when Cliff got to go all the way back to then. Last year at Thanksgiving when they beat Texas, that was the first time Kingsbury had gotten a win against the Horns in Austin, either as a player or as a coach. It's tough to win in any league, but especially in the Big 12 with these offenses so high and mighty as they are. Justice Hill. The only thing wrong with that for Oklahoma State was that he stepped out of bounds.
Right.
Paul Banks ushered him out.
If he had any real estate to navigate, I think he has the presence of mind, the youngster, to stay in bounds, but you're absolutely right.
Spencer, do you decide to just go ahead and give them 6?
No.
You don't?
No.
That's the only way you get the ball back, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. If they're going to go ahead and try to hand the ball off and run it, maybe I play for one more. It's first down.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and they got their timeouts.
I think Mike Gundy may be aware of that.
Yeah.
I think Mike Gundy may be aware of that too. We got the lead. They got to use timeouts.
Well, he scored a little bit early last week, if you recall.
Yeah. Cowboys' running game has been pretty salty today. Whenever that happens, to go ahead with Mason Rudolph, then you've got quite a combination. Mason did some of it himself, but Carson, the senior, Justice Hill, the freshman, all got into the act.
Yeah, they spread the wealth, and I think the thing that was excited about Carson ran with the heaviness and the ball protection there near the end with awareness. It was a total team effort from this running back group. And again, when they've had their best success over the years, 2010, 11, 13, they've had great balance running to complement this highfalutin, high fireworks offense of theirs.
That makes a heck of a noise when you think about it.
Yeah, those paddles are something else, man. They're noisy.
Interesting to me that Oklahoma State determined that they wanted to take a timeout, and as we mentioned, you can just run the clock out if you like, but if you were allowed to score, then you'd have to give the ball up.
See, they were trying to let him score.
Hello.
They were trying to let him score.
You don't think that the coach didn't know that?
Yeah, but see, the problem is when you call that timeout, you're in their head. Now you're saying, don't let him score, but you're aware of it as well.
See,
if he falls down, the clock's going to continue to go.
We were just thinking right along with him.
I tell you, stop him and burn your timeouts and hope that they don't get the first down.
He was thinking right along with us. There's only really one way you can lose this game, and that is if you allow the other team to have the ball again. And he figured that out. There was no other reason for Oklahoma State to ever consider taking a timeout unless that was not first and foremost in Mike Gundy's mind.
I think we're on the same page. I'm just saying that the defense has got to be willing a party as well.
Well, I think that's what Cliff was talking to them about in his timeout. He's like, fellas, if you don't make the tackle, let the kid go. We need the ball back. And Carson short of the first down.
Timeout.
And another timeout taken by Kingsbury. That's the final timeout for the Red Raiders. It's a different game, isn't it?
It really is. It's so counterintuitive, you know.
Oklahoma State trying to stay unbeaten the rest of the way. That means against a team that's at home watching them with a week off. Gary Patterson's Horned Frogs. They got that big win at Baylor and then a week off. Time to recruit. And then Bedlam at Oklahoma. Sooners have a tough take with West Virginia next week. Huge game. It could help determine the title. The two big games left, really. West Virginia, Oklahoma. Obviously, Oklahoma State's got to hold serve on the road against a TCU team that seems to be really getting its act together. Hill is playing well at the quarterback position after being benched for Gary Patterson. And then the potential of Bedlam yet again determining the outcome of this conference's championship looms large on December the 3rd.
And if my math is right, I think Oklahoma State has won 3 of the last 5.
3rd and 1. Carson got the first down and immediately took a knee. Did not go for the end zone. Immediately got the first down, took a knee, And that should do it. If you can hold on to the ball. We've seen crazier things happen.
Absolutely.
Haven't we?
Nice form tackle. Carson just laid his shoulder. Heady senior move there. Passing over the leverage. Oh, my goodness.
Victory formation from the shotgun now. So what do you make of where we are in the Big 12 the rest of the way after this?
I think Oklahoma's a team to beat, but as I just mentioned, 3 of the last 5 have been won by Oklahoma State in the Bedlam Series. We'll see how it plays out.
Let's not forget West Virginia still controls its destiny as well in this conference after their big win today against Texas. Our final score, 45-44. After a missed extra point off a difficult hold between Batson and Clayton Hatfield after a touchdown that seemed to be getting us ready for the potential of overtime had taken place. And the win streak for Oklahoma State continues. They're now 8-2, 6-1 in the Big 12 Conference, and very much in the championship conversation. For Spencer Tillman, Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles, our FS1 crew. Today's game produced by Eric Billigmeyer and directed by Doug Freeman. Brian Colucci and Justin Tolbert, our broadcast associate, with an outstanding job as well. Our spotter, Brett Bender, statistician extraordinaire Scott Alexander. Our many thanks to all of them. And a look at the college football playoff top 10 as of now. And Auburn, of course, losing to Georgia earlier today. That means they're going to drop. Everyone has a chance to move up that's in front of them based on what happens the rest of the way. The likelihood of Penn State is there after their victory against Indiana for them to move up a bit. The Big Ten appears to be the conference that now has the best chance of potentially getting 2 into the fray.
Yeah, I think Ohio State, again, despite their little hiccup that they had along the way, they're the team to beat. Michigan, obviously, what a great job that they've done all season long with the new head coach and just the passion that they're approaching that recruiting season with this turned that program all the way around so quickly. Urban Meyer's got an adversary now in that league.
A lot of professional respect there for Mike Gundy and Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes yet again in defeat. His team is now 4-6. They've got to win out, and they've got to play one of their home games will be in Arlington to close out the year. So it's a tough task for them to become bowl eligible, but boy, that young man is incredible. And I know you don't have to be 6-6 anymore. They will accept occasional 5-7 teams. Well, that young man is as good as it gets for a team that's lost over 5 games in this country. I don't know if there's a better player.
They're the greatest anomaly out there. When you look at the efficiency they have in the red area, it belies their record in terms of win-losses. They're a much better team. Got to get that defense shored up, and they'll be in the winner's circle more often than not.
So next week, we'll see what happens with TCU and Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma and West Virginia. Will Bedlam determine the Big 12 title? We'll find out. For Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando, so long. And right now on FS1, let's get you out to the UFC 205 pre-fight.